104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. The Titans' Week 1 opponent looking for some reinforcements in the wake of the 3-game suspension of Alvin Kamara. They're bringing in running back Kareem Hunt and linebacker Anthony Barr on some free agent visits. Hunt stands to play some meaningful snaps in a backfield that includes Jamal Williams and rookie Keandre Miller. Hunt played in all 17 games for the Browns last year, rushing for 468 yards and 3 touchdowns. Texans right tackle Tyus Howard is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing hand surgery today, giving him a chance to return for Houston's September 10th regular season opener versus the Ravens. But while we're talking about the Texans, Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans said, he told Tom Pelissero that number 2 overall pick, C.J. Stroud, will start Thursday's preseason opener against the Patriots. We'll get to see a little C.J. Stroud action on Thursday. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on a brand new Tuesday morning edition of RKW. Ramon, Kayla, and Will is powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. We have got a Tennessee Titans depth chart. We've got another day of practice upcoming from St. Thomas Sports Park. And we've got 4 hours to talk about all of that and whatever foolishness ensues this morning with you. 615-737-1045 is how you talk with Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Robert Walsh behind the glass. My name is Will Bowling. On Tuesday, August the 8th, how we feeling, everybody? Good morning.
Good morning,
We're doing
man.
good. Yeah.
It's Tuesday. We are here. Monday seemed like a blur because we was out at the golf tournament and everything, but Tuesday actually feel like a Monday because it's first day in the studio. But you know what?
Yeah.
We're ready to roll, Kayla.
We're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
No rain in sight. Felt not
Is it
as
not?
sticky.
Sticky.
It was definitely sticky yesterday, that's for sure. But that wind was nice. I don't know if you guys had that out on the golf course. I know, Will, you played later in the day, but it made for at least a little bit better temperatures out on the practice field because the sun wasn't just beating down on you with no air rolling through. So.
We felt the wind too. We were out there after the show. Me and Ron were riding around.
I saw
on
your
the
shenanigans.
golf cart. We were riding around on the golf cart, and Sammy Kincaid, who works at the station now, we were actually supposed to be in the tornado warning area too.
We saw that.
Yeah, so it was fascinating that I guess, of course, everybody's a side meteorologist, right? She's like, look at the clouds. They're spinning around us. She's like, so this is a warning because which one is a warning? Watch. Whichever one is not the most serious one.
Watch.
Which one is that one? Watch.
Yeah.
She's like, we're watching it because there is a slight rotation in the winds. And she was right. The clouds were super dark on one side.
Yeah,
and they
were.
really just kind of moved around us. I was like,
Yeah.
Birds in the sky didn't care, though. They was just flying
they
around,
could give,
floating.
you know what.
They could care. A flying flap is what we're calling it then. Yeah, there we go.
Can I be honest with you guys?
Yeah.
Sammy does a great job, but I think she is going to be the downfall of all of us.
Oh, really?
Why?
Eventually, these shenanigans that we have, they're not for everybody. You know what I mean? It's not great to have this ever-present eye in the sky just constantly recording you. And eventually, probably me, but it could be anybody, but probably me is going to say or do something that ends up on camera that inevitably gets their toes cut off. So, what are we going to do? There needs to be a clause that we need to sign, and not a Santa one. There needs to be a clause signed that says, look, We have first right of refusal. If you catch me, like, you can after a shotgun or something that gets cut out on the editing room floor. We don't want any of that getting out.
You say that, but there were two takes taken yesterday before she posted a video of me and Ron.
Yeah.
When we were sitting in the golf cart, we were actually just ad-libbing, going back and forth. And what happens when you're around friends? When you're
Start
around,
cussing.
you
Well,
talk
your vocabulary
Loosen
opens
up a
up.
little bit.
you loosen up a little bit. Savage loosen up a little bit. It was the perfect promo the first time around, and he ended up, and I was just like, hey, what are you doing? He was like, bro, that's your fault. How you gonna blame me for making you say words you weren't supposed to say on Sammy's cam? Is that what we're gonna call it?
Sammy's cam, yeah.
Sammy cam.
Catches
Cammy.
everything.
Oh my
Sandy
god.
Cam. Yeah. I like it.
So you had to redo.
Yeah, we had to redo it. Or I think she edited it off and then, put
Yeah.
it back in and spun it around.
But it's never as fun like the second or third time. It's always just the most authentic that first time.
It was authentic as heck, too. It was a good promo, y'all. We cut it. I've been watching a bunch of Dusty Rose promos that he would cut and stuff like that. Love that trash talking, man, okay? If you will. But Savage had a moment yesterday, man.
It was funny. They followed my group around for about 4 holes on the front 9. And I get up there, and my 3-wood / driver situation was not optimal yesterday. And I get up there, and I'm just like, do not video this. You could take still photos. I do
Sure.
not want video of this. And then I get up there finally, and I was like, all right, whatever, fine. Just go ahead and video it. Like, I don't really care. And they got an angle where you couldn't see where the ball went. When they videoed me, you just saw my swing. Piped it right down the middle. Literally the one time I had a perfect drive the entire day. But you can hear myself in the video. I'm like hyping myself up, and I literally word for word just go like, all right, we got this. Anything's possible. Tennessee beat Alabama. And then seconds later, just bing, right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
And they were like, you're actually good at this. I was like, no, give it a little bit. And then I fell apart. But they tried to like fly a drone behind one of our tee shots and like fly it with the ball.
Oh, wow.
That way you could see the exact ball flight, and none of us hit the fairway. It's like the lights were a little too bright.
That's when we need
Little too
editing.
It is.
Times like those when
Need the AI.
we want it just to look a little better.
It is. Our media department, is that what we're calling them right now? Rich and the boys? Rich and the boys?
You mean all the guys who get breakfast sandwiches except for me? When we go out?
Did you
Call
get
them out.
lunch at least?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking. We're talking about
We're talking about breakfast.
where the
We're talking
biscuits
about
at.
practice, breakfast.
I do not recommend playing golf after being at work for 12 hours or
Yeah.
being at work total for 13 hours. But I will say, it is impossible to have a bad time on a scramble. Literally impossible, because there is one of the 4 of you is going to have a good shot. There are only 3 of us, so whoever was feeling the best on that hole could take a second shot. And so my buddy Tyler is the one who couldn't come. So every time we would make a bad shot for our 4th one. We'd be like, come on, Tyler, you're killing us today. But it was fun. It was a fun time.
Appropriate, dog. It was a good time. I'm glad I hang around a little bit. I thought it was real cool, man. The station put on a real good show. And it was a good time if you just, like you will say, if you're able to just hang back a little bit. And I hung for about an hour. I left at about 12. I got me some Uncle Bud's, the fish.
There you go.
It was
So
fire,
good.
too.
There you go.
Uncle Bud's catfish and chicken, they were
Yeah.
both so good.
So I didn't do the chicken. I only wanted some fish yesterday. The fish hit. It
Nice.
really hit. I sat downstairs with Becky and the sales team. It was a grand old time is what it was. Had a dude prank me yesterday. Will, you would have punched him is what you would have did.
Would I?
Oh, yeah.
Would I?
Kayla, I hate him.
Maybe I told him to do
I
it.
hate him. No,
you bring it
didn't.
on. You
What
bring it
happened?
on.
Because I went to go, I was with Dave Elliott and I ended up hitting the tee shot. Hitting that chip shot for him,
Okay.
trying to get up on the
Good,
green.
though. That looked pretty.
It was short. Again, I don't know what the strength and power is of these things, right? So I hit it. It's straight line. They actually, I gave them a line to hit, taking a little, bragging credit right there. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But I'm walking back to the golf cart, and there was a group in front of us. They play pranks all day long is what I figured out, okay? I'm walking to the cart to get back on with Savage. There's a toy snake that looked real as hell.
Oh, that's good.
Would you have punched him now?
That's good.
Yeah, you got to laugh.
I would have jumped into the nearest lake.
That's kind of funny,
I
actually.
jumped
I don't wanna
so
give people
bad,
ideas.
y'all. Oh, my gosh. Like, I said a bad word and everything, and he's recording. I'm like, hey, bro. Hey, man, nobody plays with snakes on the golf course like this, and they
Those
just
fellas do.
dying laughing.
Terrible.
Though. But it was a good time,
Menaces to society.
though. If they'd have been, like, within 5 feet of me, I'd have punched them for sure.
Terrible.
I'd have definitely punched them. Just like one of those, like, you play too much punches, but it would have been serious.
You would have knocked him out.
The challenge of the golf tournament is it's par max.
Mm-hmm.
So we went like 7 holes without even trying a putt at one point because our irons, we just like couldn't get up on the green on the front 9.
Mm-hmm.
We were 2 under through 3 and 3 under through 5. We
Yeah.
were rolling and thought we had a chance to get down there. But I think the winner shot 53 last night.
Is that when you
Okay.
text me? Well, like when you were really rolling, you was like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm rolling.
I was like, we've
was
used
like,
4 of my shots in the first 2 holes, and then we did not use any of my shots the rest of the day.
Oops.
And I
bragging,
wish I
Caleb.
was exaggerating.
He was bragging.
I
No,
can't say anything
literally,
because if I went
we
on the
were all
golf
so
course,
tired.
I would not. I have been on the golf course, but I'll stick to the range.
Yeah.
I will stick to the range because I just don't. I think I'm too impatient
I
when it
feel
comes
you.
to it.
I feel
I wouldn't
you
be
there.
able to do it.
And as much time we were taking from hole to hole,
That's what. Yeah.
We got baked in the sun a little bit,
Right.
did you?
but it was good.
This is when I get my tan, Will and Remote. This is when I get my summer tan.
You get it
Out
late
at
summer?
camp.
Oh, for real?
I don't lay in the sun. This is when I get my tan. So I embrace getting fried and not, alcohol.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Yes.
Clarity right there.
Right.
LaRon Slay will join us at 9:20 this morning. We've got You're Not That Guy as well in hour number 3, as well as the initial Titans depth charts and some takeaways from St. Thomas Sports Park yesterday. 615-737-1045 is our number. And coming up, we revisit our conversation with Tyler Dunne of GoLongTD.com, who joined us to talk about a number of NFL topics, including a tell-all piece about Urban Meyer. And I'm going to be locked in again to what he had to say because, quite honestly, I love anything bad about Urban Meyer coming out in the media. Coming up in hour number 1 at RKW. Hey, it's Will Bowling. Put League Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. For $12 per month, you can sign up for the League Company home maintenance plan and receive 4 visits to your home every year by an experienced technician. That's help and advice for all 4 seasons. Let the League Company professionals keep your air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems in tip-top shape. Get the best players on your team today. And learn more at leaguecompany.com or give them a call at 615-567-1000. Again, that's just $12 per month with the League Company home maintenance plan. You're going to get 4 visits to your home every single year by an experienced technician. So do what I do and trust the folks who have been trusted for nearly 80 years here in Middle Tennessee. You've seen the League Company fleet driving around Middle Tennessee here. Give them a call at 615-567-1000. They're online at leaguecompany.com. That's League Company. All you need. Tuesday morning continues in hour one on RKW. We've got Ramon Foster. We've got Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh. I'm Will Bowling. We go to our conversation with Tyler Dunne of GoLongTD.com, talking a little bit of Titans, a little bit of AFC South, and a lot of Urban Meyer and kicking players and all the other chaotic things that Urban Meyer did as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's our conversation with Tyler Dunne of GoLongTD.com.
Tyler, it's great stuff, and if you have not read this article yet, the people listening to us this morning, GoLongTD.com. If you are a Titans fan who loves bad stories about the Jags, bad meaning good for us here in Nashville, this is worth the price of a sub, literally just on its own at GoLongTD.com. But Tyler, what has really impressed you the most now about the culture change that is underway in Jacksonville? Because it's crazy how quickly here the conversation switches from, okay, can Jacksonville actually sustain the offseason conversation that we always have about them and make that next step? Now the conversation here is, can the Titans challenge Jacksonville? How big has that culture change been from your perspective?
Oh, it's as 180 as it gets. And thanks so much for directing listeners to GoLongTD.com. We've got the full story there. But holy cow, Andrew Wingard, he's a veteran safety on the team who's willing to not just share a lot of these stories, but put his name to it, which is pretty cool. He's unafraid. And the reason he is unafraid is because Urban Meyer threatened to cut him just for calling him exactly what he is, a rookie head coach. So that is very real. And I think the biggest difference, you see this all the time, these college coaches who are unbelievably successful, respected. It just seems like a no-brainer kind of hire. I mean, Nick Saban, not too long ago with the Miami Dolphins, it blows up in their face, I think, because the college game, it is life and death. I mean, you lose one game in the SEC, your national title hopes are starting to fade. Boosters are going to get nervous. And so what are you going to do with these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids? You're going to push harder. You're just going to grind them down, and it is often rewarded in the form of a winning streak, national championships. It doesn't work with grown adults, right? I mean, these are grown men who aren't going to be, looking at you as some type of dictator. It just doesn't work. So I think kind of going from all of that to Doug Peterson, a coach who empowers players in every possible way, going for it on fourth down, staring down the barrel of 3-8 against the Baltimore Ravens, and just telling Trevor Lawrence, yeah, you guys pick the play out of these three, whatever you like, to go for two at the end of the game. I mean, he backs it up with his action, and I just think that they're in a really good spot. Obviously, it starts with the quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is going to be on that level with Mahomes, Allen, Burrow. I'm really convinced he is by the end of the season, but it is so much more than the quarterback, too.
Ty, you're a guy that's been in numerous locker rooms, from here in Nashville to Pittsburgh. I saw you there, met you there, to Green Bay, to all these places around the league. So it's not like you're doing stuff away from the facility and you hadn't been around NFL players. With that being said, what you wrote about Urban Meyer, how ludicrous and ridiculous and dumb was it to him to state what he's done as a college coach to NFL players, and why that just doesn't work in today's league or almost any professional league?
You've seen it too, and I think that a guy like Mike Tomlin, I mean, he's kind of the standard in terms of you don't need to coddle players and just kind of let them run the show. I mean, and I did see that here in Buffalo with Rex Ryan, and not to kind of beat that punching bag, but I mean, it was kind of country club. Training camp was really laid back, and guys loved him, especially out of Doug Marrone. So you can't go to that extreme, but I think you do need to empower players and give them a voice, give them a say. I'm doing a similar story this week on the Detroit Lions, going from Matt Patricia to Dan Campbell.
Yep. Really
similar from what the Jaguars endured, Urban Meyer to Doug Peterson. I think that, you just can't tell players, F you, do what I say. If you're not on board, I'm going to cut you or trade you. Listen to what they say. Take their input. I mean, you saw there with Pittsburgh. I'm sure Mike Tomlin's door was always open, right? He's open to having a conversation, and he's having that final say. But it just blows my mind how, Bill Belichick kind of broke everybody's brain, I guess. We see him win these Super Bowls, and we just assume that can work elsewhere. It doesn't. There's a reason all of his assistants go to other teams take over, and they're just these caricature, exaggerated versions of Belichick and the Patriots. I mean, right down to the pencil in Matt Patricia's ear, right? He doesn't even use it. His play sheet's laminated. So, I don't know. I mean, I just think that, the Vrabels, the Tomlins, the Petersons, there is a balance to strike, and some coaches get it and a lot don't.
So with that being said, too, there's usually an equal or opposite reaction. And Jacksonville seemed to have taken the opposite reaction from Urban Meyer. Of course, the Titans have to see him. I think they are everybody's favorite to win the AFC South, too. What are the Jacksonville Jaguars in your assessment of them in this second year under Doug Peterson?
Whew, man, this offense is loaded. And I thought they were pretty loaded last season without Calvin Ridley. So you drop, I get it, Ridley hasn't played football in most of, 2 seasons. But if he is everything they're saying he is in training camp, and it sounds like he is back in all caps, you have a true number one that defenses have to game plan for, in addition to Christian Kirk, who justified that crazy contract. I mean, he had over 1,000 yards, a lot of big-time catches. Zay Jones has come alive. Unbelievable considering 5 years ago he tried to throw himself out of a window, right? 30 floors up in L.A., and we talked about that for a story. It's unbelievable. Evan Ingram, one of the best receiving tight ends. Travis Etienne, into his second full season, which I got to think he's only better, a full year removed from his Liz Frank. They're going to have no problem scoring points, and because Trevor Lawrence is central to it all. The decisions that he was making, the throws he was even attempting, absurd. I guess defensively, that's where the question marks are. They didn't really do anything. Right, they had a really bad defense last year. They didn't really sign anybody, draft anybody. They're hoping that what they have just matures and develops. We'll see, right? They were bad for a long time, so you have a lot of blue-chip guys on that side of the ball. I think if you're Tennessee, if you're one of these teams hoping to compete with Jacksonville, you're just going to have to kind of go drive for drive with them, and there is a chance you can because the defense remains a little iffy.
Ty, going back to just that first year for Trevor Lawrence as a rookie under Urban Meyer, probably the worst case scenario for a rookie quarterback. And I'm just curious of how much stunt and growth in that 1 year was happening, or just maybe the uncomfortable, atmosphere he was in, than to see just the massive jump in year 2. We all knew the talent that Trevor Lawrence had, but I think we were all a little surprised that we didn't see it in year 1, possibly because of Urban Meyer mania, and not in a good way.
Yeah, no doubt, Kayla, you're right. And I'm trying to think back. So I've been around Jacksonville a few times since Urban left. TJ Beathard, the backup quarterback, at one point early last season at his locker, his eyes got big. He's shaking his head. He's like, people have no clue what Trevor had to deal with. And he didn't really get into too many specifics. I think you can kind of let your mind wander to, there's all of the nonsense, the BS, the not, even traveling back with your team from the loss to Cincinnati that dropped you to 0-4. And players didn't even know that he wasn't on the plane. Like, he sits in first class, and they just assumed, oh, yeah, he's up there. Like, they didn't even know until we all found out, and they saw the same videos we did. So you can only imagine if he's doing that kind of stuff, like, what's he like to deal with behind the scenes? And he's thinking of himself as this quarterback savant who has produced all of these All-Americans. I'm sure it wrecked Trevor Lawrence as a rookie. And Lawrence, look, he made mistakes on his own. He wasn't perfect, but you have to assume that it was 95% Urban-induced, and thank God that they got rid of him. I mean, if that report doesn't come out that Urban Meyer just kicked his own kicker,
yep.
Right? It happened in the preseason, but it came out in, December. If that doesn't happen, he's the coach. Or maybe he's fired after year 2, and who knows what happens to Trevor Lawrence's game. You could even see it last year. It took him till about, late October, early November to kind of get that stench off of him, and by then, that point forward, he was statistically the best quarterback in football. He was unbelievable the last 7-8 weeks. So, yeah, to answer your question, I can only imagine how bad it was as the quarterback under Urban Meyer.
Tyler Dunne of GoLongTD.com joining us now on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. And Ty, when you look at coaches, that make that transition from college to the NFL, not many have success. Like, even look at a Nick Saban, who has been really the GOAT of college football for so long, coming over from Miami because he just couldn't cut it there. I think more than anything, Ty, it's probably a control thing when you think about it. I think some of the outliers is obviously Pete Carroll up in Seattle.
I think, too, I think that's why the Nick Sabans of the world are having a really difficult time with NIL, in a sense, because they're losing that control. Now, and look, it's imperfect, the system that's in place now. It is like a Wild West with everybody just kind of transferring every month, it seems. But yeah, I mean, players are now making a lot of money, millions of dollars. And before they were getting some stuff from these coaches. Let's not be naive, but they weren't paid. They weren't under salary. They weren't getting these kind of marketing deals and everything. So Saban, Meyer, all of these guys had control. They had say. You were locked into their program, and you had to kind of get on board or get out. Or there are 5, 6 5-star dudes right behind you chomping at the bit. So it's a different world, and I think that's why they just don't work out in the NFL, because you just can't, on a very human level, day to day, just treat players like they're kids. I mean, it kind of reminds me of what Minnesota Viking players were telling me about Mike Zimmer this time last year, and Zimmer actually won games. I mean, he has a resume as a defensive coach, but they said it got to a point where that alarm would go off at 6 a.m. and you just dreaded going to work. You hated it. You didn't even want to be there around this guy. Lions players saying the same thing about Patricia. Jaguar players saying the same thing about Urban Meyer. Like, I don't know how that translates to the tangible performance on the field, but there's some kind of connection. If you don't enjoy going to work and you dread being around your head coach, your own boss, hell, you're not going to play well.
Tyler Dunne with us this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Tyler, it's interesting. The conversation around this Titans team has been a bit more positive in training camp than at least I expected, as some of the new additions really make their presence felt. Arden Key specifically, a guy that's been impressive. With this team adding DeAndre Hopkins, where are you at on this Titans team? Because it just feels like with this franchise specifically, it's always the Titans team you most medium suspect that ends up and kind of sneaks up on people a little bit.
Right. The last thing that I'll ever do is count out the Tennessee Titans, because it just seems – I mean, right, the debate against paying running backs, I mean, Derrick Henry misses half the season, and yet they get the number 1 seed,
right,
and they're 1 or 2 Tannehill throws away from the AFC Championship game. Right there. I mean, and Henry, there's no knock on him. He is a transformer of a running back. We'll see. I'm actually going to be up at those joint practices with the Vikings, so it'll be good to kind of get some eyeballs on the Titans. I think that there's talent. DeAndre Hopkins, as much as we think he may go the way of the dodo of Julio Jones, that's kind of where these receivers seem to go to die. Look, the last time we saw him, he was healthy, he was pretty damn good. And if he can be just this, even if he's a possession receiver who catches everything, you pair that with Treylon Burks, who might be on the verge of, a big year. I think you're going to see a ton of talent out of him. Who knows what happens at quarterback, what Tannehill you're going to get. But, look, if he still has a little juice left, you can talk yourself into the Titans competing, because they always compete. And, eventually you have to make that big decision at quarterback. You're going to want to see Levis and if he is the future. But in the now, with Mike Vrabel and how they approach every day, this isn't a team that's just going to tank and fall apart. I can't see the wheels coming off like they did the last season.
Tyler Dunne, GoLongTD.com, has been our guest this morning on RKW. Check out that article on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as that team gets a little less dysfunctional, fun to reminisce on the times when they were the most dysfunctional team in the National Football League. Tyler, we appreciate it as always, man.
Hey, and I guess we're branding ourselves as the House of Dysfunction. If you want to learn, how everything hit the fan, just head on over to Go Long. So, thanks for the opportunity, gang, and hopefully we can do it down there in person soon.
So there is Tyler Dunne of GoLongTD.com with us on RKW as we continue here in hour number 1. I'm a poet and I didn't know it. And look, it's one thing, guys, by the way, for us to be excited about You're Not That Guy. But as I'm reading more headlines this morning, I've never been more excited about what I have for 820 this morning.
Please don't take mine, 'cause I got a good one too.
What sport does yours have to do with?
Baseball.
Oh, no.
Baseball, you said? Uh-oh, you might be the same one.
What league?
I don't know. There's been a couple smack arounds.
Oh, talking about Chicago White Sox?
Is that yours?
Tim Anderson?
No, it's not. Tim Anderson, not Tim Anderson.
What division?
AFC North.
What?
God.
What city? Tell me what city.
He knew.
Baltimore.
Dang it,
Yeah.
Ramon. No, I have audio for this that I'm going to use.
That was an obvious one, y'all.
It is, but okay, I'll take Tim. I got Tim.
Well,
You
you
got
got to tell
Tim?
everyone
I
now.
don't have Tim.
I just wanted to know what your original one was.
My original was Baltimore.
That's why I put it in
It's all
our
good.
Slack
Don't trip.
last night.
Don't trip. I
To
gotta
claim
go
it.
one.
Don't
I gotta
trip.
go one. Don't trip.
We got
Hey,
this.
moving.
We could do the one we
goalposts.
just had a discussion on.
Anytime we want to. You feel me, Kayla? Solid, man. We're here for this, Will.
Weak at y'all.
I don't know what divisions baseballs are in, though.
That was
I'll be
pretty
honest
funny.
with you.
AFC North.
Yeah.
Was I wrong?
Yes, you were. You were literally the definition of being wrong.
American League, National League.
638, Robert Walsh.
But
Was
there's-
I wrong?
Is there a Central, North,
Out of my
East?
Joe Hunk voice.
Yeah.
I know Central. They have Central.
Sure.
It used to be AFC Central too, didn't it? With the Titans, Steelers,
Oh,
Baltimore.
football,
Yes.
yes.
It was 5 teams in that
Football,
one.
correct.
Hey, come on, man. It's just football.
Not everything's about football.
Come on, man. It's
I'm
football
just kidding.
season.
What am I
Come on,
saying?
man.
Yes, everything is about
AFC
football.
Football season. Come on, Kayla.
You were in the right vicinity.
That's all I needed was one. Kayla got me. Kayla
Coming
got me,
up
right?
from one football to another, before we dive into the Titans discussion to start hour number 2, I'm going to give you a little primer of a very unique experience you could have just south of downtown Nashville tonight. Coming up on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Wrapping up hour number 1 on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors here on 104.5 The Zone as we take our shoes off and run into hour 2 coming up in a few minutes.
That was good.
I don't deserve to have any more songs that I like after that terrible joke. This is fitting that Robert Walsh brings us back from break with this because this actually is a soccer song. This is a FIFA song.
Is it?
Tonight at Geodis Park, 7 o'clock kickoff. 6:45 pregame coverage, Nashville SC and Club America at Geodis. This is the round of 16 of the CONCACAF Leagues Cup, really of the Liga MX and MLS, basically, league that is happening over this month. And Club America is like the New England Patriots of North American soccer.
So we hate
Is
them?
about the best way I could describe it. Sure. They have 13 titles in their country, 14 in the continent. If you have never been to a soccer game, this is the one to go to.
Yeah.
I promise you. There's no draws. If there is a draw after 90 minutes, there will be a penalty shootout immediately. That's how Nashville advanced on Friday in a 1-1 draw with FC Cincinnati. So I will be taking your questions at this time.
That's what I was going to say. I thought you was going to say if there's a draw, we send it back. Either way.
If there's a draw, we send it back.
Okay, that's what I was looking for right there, y'all. It's fascinating, Will. I just wanted, you've been talking about this game for like the last few days. I'm like, is it really that type of environment, hypeness that you need? If you're going to pick a game to go to, it is August 8th is what you're telling me.
August 8th, tonight.
Okay.
Go to all of them, but
But this is the one that's going to rope everybody in and make them fans.
It's been really good.
Okay.
It would be, this is essentially playing the New York Yankees of Mexico soccer.
If you could go to one game, this game or the Messi game, which one would you go to?
That's a good question. Messi's already played here. So Nashville plays Messi in Miami in their temporary stadium they have down there.
Why not both?
Yeah, ¿por qué no los dos?
Hey.
Dave, that was kind of
That
cool.
was pretty solid.
Hey, hold on.
That was
Willie
good.
Colon over
¿Por qué no
there.
los
It
dos?
was, I know. And the way you said both, you didn't put a TH on
también.
that at all.
No, I said it like radio.
You said it BOFF, both.
What kind of pie you want? I would like both.
Both of them.
Both of them. That was solid right there, Will. Yeah, you've been excited about this. By the way, both of y'all just been on the run lately, man. I feel like I need to be doing something more around this piece, too. It's like
Well, you're about to start Titans Radio, so you'll be plenty busy.
I know, but like I feel like I'm dragging cheeks because y'all just really crushing everything around here, man. I'm like, goodness gracious. What else I need?
I'm just doing the daily work.
I
By the
know.
way, Nolensville played last night. They are going to play Florida today at 4 p.m. Central. Winner goes to Williamsport.
Okay. Yes, they do. By the way, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I watched some of the games yesterday, too. Those kids get into it. A portion of me, although my kids be involved in that type of stuff, is like, is this exploitation? But those kids are having a good time. I just hate when the team is really getting drug under.
No. These kids are
I
having
hate
fun.
that.
They're having a ton of fun. We had them on.
I know, but I'm talking about the ones on the opposite end of it, where they show the mom and dads in the stands praying and stuff. I'm be like, oh.
Yeah, what is
These
the
kids
right
are
amount of
competitive as heck, though.
care about 12-year-old baseball?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, if those kids are having a good time, there's still some money to be made. You know what I mean?
I hope not that young,
I
but
gotta make money off this.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I think you should leave.
it's
I
like,
gotta make money off this. It's too good.
I think they're still though competing for their there's not a lot of money
yeah.
involved in this level. I think it's just purely for the winning,
yeah.
and the titles. You know, like these kids want to win, and that's okay still.
Oh yeah,
The money's not really.
I'm not
involved.
mad at the winning part of it. It's just you know when the team is from Alaska and they're getting beat, like
And they're showing
14
the
to
parents, you're
1,
saying?
and then we still got to broadcast these children's feelings on TV, and I'd be like, man, all little Jamarco and little Liam want to do
That is not their name. That are not those.
So Jamarco Jones went from being a bad offensive lineman to being a little league baseball
Let
player.
me look up some Alaskan
I'm
names.
culturally representing everybody by saying Jamarco and Liam, okay? Everybody's included in it. And Seth, okay?
I promise you,
Seth.
there's
And
not
Adam.
one
Forgot about
Alaskan named Liam.
Most popular
on.
baby names in Alaska.
Oh God.
Oliver is the number one name for guys.
Could see that.
Amelia for girls. Wait, Liam is the number 2 name for Alaska.
We got him!
Ramon,
There it is.
Ramon, how did you know that?
Oh
Juno.
gosh.
Oh no.
Juneau, Alaska, baby.
Okay. All I'm saying is, man, I don't want to see little Liam and Seth and Jamarco.
Nah,
You know what I'm saying?
It's preparing him for the future.
You're right. You're right,
It's preparing him
Kayla.
for the
I
future.
just control Alt,
Yeah.
and there is no Jamarco.
Look at the
to be
future.
found. Who'd have thought?
All I'm saying, little Devontae there. He's out there.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
2 out
Let's
of
see.
3, man.
And swing and a miss.
God.
Swinging a miss again.
All right, so 1 and 2.
I'm culturally trying to represent everybody out here, man.
Stick with Liam.
Stick with
You got
Liam.
that right.
I got
You
one.
You can one more. See if you strike out.
Give me Topher.
What?
No, that could also be Christopher.
See what I'm saying? I
I
got that
hardly
one.
know her. All right, so Christopher. We're gonna do Christopher.
Chris is so easy. Give me an easy name, man. Come on.
Christopher at number 90,
That's it. There we go.
right in front of,
go.
right behind Brody.
Brody.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think Brody's more of a dog name.
It's a bro name for sure.
Brody's a
definitely
good dog
bro
name.
name.
Professional wrestling
Could
name.
be dog name.
I know a few Brodies.
Hey, me and Brody are gonna go bang some chains. You want to come froth with us? That's frisbee golfing.
Stop talking like Joe Hunk, okay? What is wrong with you, bro?
You can see, I could see Joe Hunk being a chain banger. He'd bang some chains.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It's frisbee golfing. That's what the slang
Uh-huh.
is. That's what the kids are saying.
Is it possible we could do a show where we all did our Joe Hunk impression? Like,
Oh boy.
what do you guys think about the new Titans depth chart?
We're sponsored by Hall's Cough Drops because the only way we can talk like this for more than 10 seconds is if we've got a lozenge on standby.
You know what?
I'd need
you know
like
what?
a pack of them.
That
I'm
might be
good with
doing.
this station civil war. Let's do it, baby. Let's go. I'm all for it.
I mean, we're not going to have Oregon State anymore, so might as well have a civil war here.
I got to hear your impression then. Before we go to break, I got to hear your Joe Hunk.
Bro, no, you're on the line right now. We're coming back from break. That was good. Was that good?
Better than I expected, actually.
Hey, Joe Hung here on 104.5 out the zone.
And the home, a 3HL.
I'm
My
weak,
goodness.
y'all.
We're getting called to the office
I know.
today.
Coming up,
We are getting called to the
That'd be
office.
the first for us.
Kyle Phillips
my
feels
gosh.
healthy. Hear about it on RKW next.
What's going on? Good morning. 7 o'clock from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. The big news out of Titans practice yesterday was Mike Vrabel announcing that assistant head coach and defensive line coach Terrell Williams will serve as Titans head coach versus the Bear on Saturday. Vrabel will still be in the building. He will be assisting the head coach. Speaking of the Titans, their week 1 opponent is looking for some reinforcements in the wake of a 3-game suspension for Alvin Kamara. They are bringing in running back Kareem Hunt on a free agent visit. Hunt played in all 17 games for the Browns last year, rushing for 468 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now to the Texans, as their right tackle Titus Howard is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing hand surgery yesterday, giving him a chance to return for Houston's September 10th regular season opener versus the Ravens. And while we're talking Texans again, we might as well talk about their head coach yesterday coming out to Tom Pelissero. That number 2 overall pick, C.J. Stroud, will start Thursday's preseason opener against the Patriots. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols and RKW. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on into hour number 2 on a beautiful Tuesday morning in Nashville. And it's beautiful because, well, you probably woke up in Nashville if you're listening to the sound of our voices right now. That's a good thing. We're powered by All 4 Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All 4 Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh behind the glass. My name is Will Bowling. Coming up in 20 minutes, a report from the practice field and our takeaways on the initial depth chart, where there aren't many surprises, but there are certainly a couple of genuine takeaways that we have from the initial depth chart the Titans put out that largely means little. But for the first time, guys, the Titans are not playing the charade that, rookies are just going to start off as the last guys on the roster. No, the first-round pick is already a starter, according to the Tennessee Titans depth chart.
No doubt, man. It's very fascinating. Like I said, we all had, I guess, some eye-raising moments looking at the depth chart. Any coach will tell you this, too, in camp. Whenever they release it, I never forget when we start looking at that stuff. Because players, one thing that players always do is run to the depth chart. It gives them a sense of comfort. It lets you know where you're at. And the first thing a coach is going to tell you, the depth chart means nothing, man. It is something we have to formally do for the NFL. So do not say, I'm behind this guy, I'm in front of this guy, because none of this matters. But what I took from it, though, I'm happy to kind of see it. But I still question the guy behind him. That's Jack Gibbons in front of Monty Rice. That was my biggest take on looking at the depth chart right there. I shouldn't be shocked, I guess, either, because if you can break down a defense and really play ball in this league, and no matter where you come from or how you got to your position, Dr. Gibby being number 1 on the depth chart is a major flex right there by him.
Yeah, I spoke to him yesterday after practice. He's really worked hard to kind of get in that spot. Not to say that Monty isn't and can't be that guy, right? I mean, this is really good competition. It's some of the stuff Jack had talked about. Yeah, I'm looking at this. Peter Skoronski, obviously no surprise there, being, a rookie and being the starter, at least right now on the depth chart.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been flawless. We haven't talked about him much because we haven't needed to, right?
He's been doing his thing.
Yeah. So that's always just good to reassure. It might have been a non-sexy pick in the draft, but it looks like it'll work out for a while there. My biggest kind of, I'm looking at the depth chart, was the wide receiver room behind DeAndre Hopkins. I saw NWI, okay. Yeah. Mason Kinsey right there with NWI, and then Kyle Phillips in that 3 spot there. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I haven't seen any bad things in terms of Kyle Phillips this training camp, but then again, you can't take anything away from the guys that are also doing good things at camp. I just haven't seen as much from NWI that stood out, right? Because NWI is such a steady Eddie dude.
Yeah.
There's nothing ever that strikes me about NWI in training camp, at least.
Oh, yeah.
But he is that solid, consistent guy. So, and then the other one guys behind Derrick Henry, Hassan Haskins, Jonathan Ward, and I've brought his name up a couple times. He really has looked good. He really has made an impression. Mm-hmm. He does stick out in practice, and he's kind of right there in the second column there in the depth chart. Tajay Spears and Julius Chestnut.
By the way,
third row.
With NWI, real quick, I looked at that one too with him and Mason Kinsey. I think this is a little bit more interesting than just them being in the same spot. But boring is good when it comes down to doing your job. You know what I'm saying? Especially as a pro too. But I'm with you. That is kind of just.
Right?
Do you think it could possibly be something like last year where we saw Joey Chestnut start? Not Joey Chestnut.
Oh my
Lord.
gosh, I thought you were joking.
No, what's his name?
Julius.
Julius. Dadgummit, Joey's brother.
Oh man, that was hilarious.
We saw him get the nod in the first preseason last year. Do you think it's something like, hey, we just want to recognize how hard you've been working and give you the opportunity to come in the game as a number two? Something like that, rather than, oh, he's number two on the depth chart for sure. He's our starting slot receiver.
Yeah, I could see that happening in certain situations, though, too, or the fact that we respect you enough for the work you've put down. Now go prove to us why you need to do it.
Right.
Or why we need to keep you in that slot that's as far as too deep.
How about a pressure situation for Kyle that still needs to continue to, prove that he's going to be that guy during the season, not just have a great preseason or do what he needs to do in the preseason. Mason Kinsey is always good in training camps. We've all talked about that. But then when it comes down to it, he's not on the roster.
He knows the system and how to be a pro when necessary.
It's kind of like a Logan Woodside situation.
Ooh. Yeah, you always are looking to upgrade. Not dissing Mason or anything like that, but we just going to see how it shakes out, right? Definitely got to see how this shakes out. Well, what's gotten you on this one?
Not much, honestly. The way Mike Vrabel usually and the Titans usually put together these initial depth charts is they always bury the rookies. And Colton Dowell is the last name listed at wide receiver, along with Trayshawn Harrison and Kyrus Jackson. I think the thing that you guys didn't mention that is pretty interesting is Jalen Duncan being on the left side.
Yeah.
And not on the right side. And the fact that at right tackle, Chris Hubbard's been here for about 5 minutes and is already the starting right tackle, with Zach Johnson and Nicholas Petit-Frere listed behind him. And Jalen Duncan is listed as Andre Dillard's backup at left.
Yep. He's been working there.
He has been.
He was working there yesterday.
And I knew that. And that's not a shock for that reason.
No,
but the fact that you have a bigger need at right tackle than you do at left tackle.
Well, that's the thing, though. And this one is like, I feel like it's better depth at right tackle with what's there, that we don't know who is actually a left tackle capable guy. And if Jalen's played left, keep him at left for a little while too and just let him get those reps. It's one of those things where it's good for Jalen to play both, but it'd be better for him to learn how to be Andre Dillard's backup.
One procedural note, and Jim Wyatt noted this when he talked about the way you read the depth chart. The way I read it is Mason Kinsey is behind Kyle Phillips. Because Jim Wyatt wrote, behind the top two wide receivers, Chris Moore and Nick Westbrook-Akine are the backups, with Racey McMath and Kyle Phillips listed third behind them. So you're going left to right, and then you go down. So Mason Kinsey's not listed as the third wide receiver at that spot.
Is he not?
Fourth, behind Kyle Phillips.
So he goes behind. Yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And
so you go left to right, and then you do the row below left to right.
Like a typewriter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I note that because when Jim Wyatt writes about this, he says, behind the top two wide receivers, Chris Moore and Nick Westbrook-Akine are the backups on each side, with Racey McMath and Kyle Phillips listed third, followed by a bunch of others.
Right. So he is third, though, right?
Yes.
Kyle? Okay.
I will say this too going into this weekend. Definitely, this is one thing the Titans always do: the backup D lineman, getting real familiar with them. Jaleel Johnson being behind Big Jeff and Naquan being behind Tierre. I want to see what those guys going to do. I don't expect Tierre or Big Jeff to get a whole lot of work. I don't know if Jeff is going to play at all. This is what's going to be fascinating about this week is watching this second line of defense, no pun intended, get some work in. That's including Chance Campbell at middle linebacker too, and it's going to be very fascinating if Jack Gibbons, a.k.a. Dr. Gibby, plays an extended amount of time because he still is a new starter. Being the green dot, I'm sure, on defense, unless it's Aziz. Aziz Ashar being the communicator on the field. It's going to be fascinating to see what Dr. Gibby does. And also, he enters this game as the number one linebacker as far as the middle goes, inside linebacker, number one and number two starter. How does he handle this? Being a season opening or preseason opening starter carries a lot of weight too. There's pressure of performing. There's pressure of keeping this spot. These dudes are still in the spot to where they're trying to make the team in this capacity. So I'm looking forward to see how all of this shakes out.
And look, the depth is always something you need to have too. You need to have the depth chart like this, and it's nice to see it because there are bodies that are getting banged up in camp. We can't go into detail, but I will say T.R. Tart, left the field for a little bit yesterday, Aziz Al-Shaair did. So those are things where you've got to remember, like, depth is so important, and just to see it is good for us because then it's like, okay, if they are out for a little bit, this guy's ready to step up,
Yep.
In camp, you get banged up.
You do.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if this depth chart matches what actually happened Saturday in Chicago.
Sure.
Because there are plenty of times we see a depth chart come out week one of preseason that then totally is not what you see on Saturday. Obviously, yes, when starters are out. I'm not talking about starters missing. I mean situations where you have a battle between Jalen Duncan and Chris Hubbard, and while Jalen Duncan on the depth chart is left tackle, I would expect he probably gets some time at right tackle on Saturday as well.
Yes.
So just seeing what happens on Saturday, that to me is more interesting than what's on paper. But at least gives us an outline of what to look for when the Titans take the field on Saturday.
I thought it was interesting. I guess I didn't really know this. So Teron Davenport says one thing to note about the depth chart, not from coaches, based on the PR team's observations.
That's going to be fascinating. Again, it's fluid. I hated hearing that in camp, but it's so true. It's such a fluid depth chart. Like, none of this means anything right now.
So, yeah, miss me with the concern that Will Levis is the third quarterback. And people like Mike Florio and aggregators nationally will look at a bird's eye view of Titans training camp and say, Will Levis is behind Malik Willis. It doesn't matter.
Is that how Florio sounds? He sound like Buck?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
615-737-1045 if you want to jump in. Coming up. Shadows. Or whatever. That's honestly not that good of an impression. Kyle Phillips talked to Kayla after practice yesterday. So did Jack Gibbons. We'll get to that as well as a practice report from St. Thomas Sports Park as we continue on Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
All right, it's Kayla Ramon from Window Nation, and guess what? It is here, almost reaching the midpoint of August, so you're feeling the heat. You're definitely feeling the humidity. Even when we get that rain, you're cranking up your AC. You're trying to get inside, and that means you're probably seeing your energy bills go up a bit. Maybe they are going up a lot here this summer in Middle Tennessee. That is why our friends at Window Nation have a great deal. Save thousands today. No money down, no payments, no interest for 2 full years. Plus, they got a new deal. Get 50% off any style of window. And you can get the bays, double hung, and style in any type of window. And if you're wondering what type of window you might need, well, because yours is probably dealing with the elements, you've got mold, you've got condensation, that probably means you need to get on one of these new styles. You can protect, increase the value of your home today, you can simply check them online at windownation.com.
And the best thing about it, you put zero down, make zero payments, and have 0% interest for 24 months. So maintain your chill, lower your bill, and fill your home with new Window Nation windows. Go with the company that has installed nearly 2 million windows with 96% needing no follow-up service. They do it right the first time, and we get 50% off all styles that Kayla just told you and put no money down. Make no payments and pay no interest for 2 full years. Call 866-90Nation to go to windownation.com and be sure to tell them that Ramon and Kayla sent you.
Tuesday morning continues on RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. We've got a practice report coming up, hot off the presses. 615-737-1045. If you've got a Titans question or concern for us, for Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, Robert Walsh, I'm Will Bowling. Kyle Phillips says he feels healthier and he now knows what to expect from defenses. And in talking with Kayla after practice yesterday, it was less about him feeling more, I don't know, muscular, bigger, and more about just the mental side of the game and understanding exactly where he is. Here was Kyle Phillips walking off the practice field yesterday at St. Thomas Sports Park.
Oh, yeah, every day come out here, it's definitely hard. Defense gives us a good look, so it's just every day you got to come out your best and just compete.
Just a couple weeks into camp now and you feeling healthy and you feeling good about everything out here. What is that like for you this year with putting on some pounds and muscle?
Yeah, it's really good just finally being back healthy again just because it took so long and just having a year under me and just knowing what to expect in terms of how the defense is going to play, their disguises, and just knowing the offense. I'm able to play a lot faster and just have a lot more fun out here.
Is it different with the offense this year, even just adding one body like D-Hop? Like, how much does he raise the room of competition?
Oh, yeah, it's super different. I mean, just him coming in, just he expects out of all of us, and he pushes us to be better every day. Certain things that maybe we would have let slip, he's holding us accountable and pushing the room to be better.
Punt returning, working a little at that today. Do you feel confident and if he puts you back there?
Yeah, 100%. I'm ready to go back there, planning to go back there and do what I can.
There's Kyle Phillips post-practice.
Planning to go back there.
That's awesome.
Kyle Phillips listed as the punt returner.
Yep.
Big deal or not?
Not a big deal. I think it's expected. I don't know what was the better option as far as you trusting him. I will say his transgressions that he had last year, the drops that he had, I guarantee he would work. He had to have worked time and time again on those. What better situation to be in this weekend than on the road fielding punts again? Mm-hmm. So I'm not overly shocked. The league is full of second chances. I just need him to capitalize on these things.
I think he could be a very, good guy back there, have success if he can handle the ball, if he doesn't fumble the ball or drop the ball. I mean, and we saw that multiple times last year. I feel like it's one thing, guys, like this year there's a short leash, right? If it happens one time, I feel like they're going to go in a different direction. But I do, after talking with Kyle and just hearing like what he learned from last year, maybe getting some out of those nerves out too, which I think was a part of it, I think he will be ready back there.
And the other portion of it for me, watching, which I think was the second game of the season last year when he got vertical real fast and hit the sideline.
His first game against the Giants.
That's what they're looking for right there. Like, if he can do more of that, like the talent is there, and we saw the talent be displayed also. And also just catching punts, fielding punts from Stonehouse probably helps and aid him a little bit more. Nerves need to be a little bit better, but he has to hold on to the ball. But that first game against the Giants is what we're looking for.
Had a 46-yard punt return against the Giants last season in Week 1. He also fumbled twice on only 5 returns. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a 400 batting average you do not want to have.
Not in right. You don't want that.
For me, I would rather him be on the field less in punt returns simply to keep him healthy. I mean, some of the hits you're taking in that context of the game.
Yeah.
I need that guy moving the chains on third downs more than I need him returning one out of every 4 or 5 punts, honestly. And I know that's an opportunity as the kickoff becomes de-emphasized in football. That's an opportunity to pick up some of those yards that maybe you don't have an opportunity to get on kickoff returns since you're now more incentivized to take a fair catch inside the 20 and just take another 25. But I would rather him just master one thing before we start adding in other special teams responsibilities personally.
I would say this. I ride with what you're saying, but anybody would tell you can't live in your fears when you have that type of like guy that displays whatever his talent is going to be. Either he does help and bring the team along, or you know this as a pro. He's out at that point too. Like I know you're saying just no, let him do one thing. No, his job is to do multiple things because he's not a position wide receiver as it stands at this point.
Yeah, and I think just gathered from that last way he answered the question, he really does want to prove himself out there as a punt returner as well and contribute on that side of the ball in terms of special teams. I think he's taking a lot of pride in it. Now, whether or not that works out, we'll see. But I think they're going to utilize him in any way they can.
I still have PTSD from Adoree Jackson.
Yeah.
And there have
wrong.
been too many players in this city. And I know that Adoree Jackson has nothing to do with Kyle Phillips, obviously. They do share the same coaching staff. So I don't know what they're being taught that is potentially adding to the fumbles and the muffed punts. But we did this so much for Adoree Jackson. Oh, just give him a second chance. You know, he's the best athlete back there. Put him back there and see what he can do. He deserves the opportunity. Just catch the football. Special teams is not that big of a deal. It is obviously important. It's a third of the game. It's a third of the game, but I would rather have a guy who's going to catch 49 out of 50 punts versus a guy that's going to catch 40 out of 50 of them, but when he does catch it, give you an average of 10 more yards.
I'm a believer in second chances, though. I'm a firm believer. And why not do it in a game which, as far as the season goes, doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is his job and how he fights for his job moving forward. I'm of the mindset, give Kyle Phillips this opportunity because I know he's quick enough. I've seen that flash in the pan. I have seen him do this. And if he's capable and he's bigger and more confident and stronger, I'm here for this type of opportunity. Now, the best part about this, y'all, is what? If he doesn't perform and he's fumbles McGee out here. Guess what? Everybody's McGee in my book if you're messing up on something. Okay?
Right? You don't want to be that.
But you get rid of him.
Yeah, well, you don't. You don't put him as the returner. And the other thing is, I've heard of so many of these second-year players last year. It was they were thinking so much, right? Mm-hmm. They were thinking. This year, I've heard from so many of them that we don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah,
we're having fun. There's just the mental side is a lot calmer, and I feel that goes into play for Kyle back there specifically too.
Has to.
While we're talking about the return, and if you look at the kick returner on the depth chart, it's kind of odd where you don't really see someone who's a sure thing to make the roster until you get to the 3 deep with Tajay Spears, because it's Julius Chestnut, who I talked about his brother earlier, and Joey. And Hassan Haskins is the second. So who? Hypothetically, if the first two don't make the roster, is Tajay Spears returning kicks for this team? Or is that a scenario where you might see Kyle have to hop in on kick return? Or Chris Moore or someone else with some experience returning these kicks?
So we find ourselves in the same boat as we did last year, though, with this. Either we trust Kyle a little bit more and give him the opportunity. Hassan's right behind him trying to prove himself in multiple ways as far as being on this roster. But then, like you said, the contingency plan is a young guy that hadn't done this before in this league. Has the speed, has the skill set, has the vision for it, essentially. But we don't know much about him. This is a good place to be at because, Kyle, pressure's on.
Big time. Mm-hmm. Big time. And I feel like we have maybe propped up Kyle Phillips a bit too much simply because he is such an automatic guy in practice. Mm-hmm. And going back to last season, in his second week on the roster, he was the chain mover on every single third down. And he's been solid in practice from all reports and all accounts. But, the guy still just had over 100 yards last year.
Yeah, but also season ended with injuries and stuff like that.
I know. So you got to stay healthy to be available to have more than 100 yards. I mean, I think I'm with you.
Yeah, throw him into the fire is kind of the way I see this one. And, again, the beauty about it is you either rise to the top or you fall to the bottom in the wayside. And we're looking for players to kick return on the waiver wire.
In the F&M Bank chat says, stop babying him, Will. This is not the sport to hold back at this point of his career. No, I'm saying he has to earn the second chance. Mm-hmm. Earn it in preseason before I'm willing to throw you out there again. Because if you muff punts, I'm not babying you. I'm putting you on the bench because you're not giving my offense an opportunity to work. You're putting the defense right back on the field.
Yeah.
How short is that leash, you think?
For a special teamer?
If he comes out in preseason and bobbles one?
Well, for him specifically, it's going to be short, I think.
Oh, my God.
Just because of last year.
like Will said something about like the special teams. Like everybody size out of special teams at all times because they're filled with skilled guys that don't really have positions primarily, right? Like, okay, you play running back, but you're on special teams. We can always find a replacement. Coaches will tell you, and that's the reason if you've ever been around a special team coach, they're all crazy. I've never met one that's not loud, that don't curse you out like crazy.
Craig Ackerman's interesting, though. I don't think he's like that type of coach.
In meetings, I bet the farm,
yeah.
He's probably like, man, this is the way you're going to earn your living. I don't care what position. Like, this is the reason I know this stuff, because I've been in those special teams meetings, and those coaches rail those guys, Bert. Like, when it comes down to you making a mistake on a team that's not your position, meaning offense or defense, there is zero wiggle room for those
But they
dudes.
gave him a lot of chances last year. So
Probably because the options were low.
There are not many on here right now.
Other than-
Mason Kinsey behind Kyle right now. And like Bert mentioned, Tajay, who I feel like Tajay's only third because he's a rookie.
He's a rookie.
Right?
Yeah. But Bert, to answer your question, the leash is short. You will get fired faster on special teams than you will at almost any other phase of the game, simply because they know they'll find another person to do it.
Well, especially year two.
Yeah, and especially year two also. Like, they will tell you carry our hopes and dreams when you field this ball, when you muff this punt. Imagine playing defense and getting the 3 and out and you muff the ball. You're fired. Like, it's that simple about it. Like, that's the brutal part about the game. And honestly, I appreciate about it because it's nothing more deflating than to have a turnover on special teams or the kick returner who's trying to get 2 more yards and the ball get raked out. Like, bro, we're past the 25. Get out of bounds. Or the worst one, the guys running down on kickoff that get a block in the back.
Right.
You weren't even in the play.
Vrabel talks about that a lot.
They get called out for like not being smart football players. And when you're in that position of just being fragile as not having a solid spot on the team, essentially, that leash is so fast, y'all. Like, that's a hard life to live of being a teamer. It really is.
Let's hear from the other starting inside linebacker, Jack Gibbons, who spoke to Kayla after practice as well yesterday, and is the man who is listed as a starter alongside Azeez Al-Shire. When you listen to this guy talk, again, he is another Mike Vrabel in a lot of ways. Speaks just like his head coach and is certainly a guy that has impressed his head coach quite a bit over the last 2 years since he joined the team. Here's Jack Gibbons post-practice yesterday.
In that room is pushing each other to get better, and it just brings out the best in everyone when one guy plays good and the other guys around him kind of rise to that occasion. So it's been super competitive, really fun.
What do you make of kind of your journey at this point with this Titans team and just the steps you've taken?
Yeah, all I do is just kind of show up every day and try to be the best version of myself I can be, continue to get better, and create a role for myself on the team. And I feel like this is a great place to be because the better you do, like if you take advantage of opportunities, you get more. And so I feel like I've took advantage of an opportunity last year with some guys getting hurt, getting to play a little bit, and continuing to get more, though. So trying to keep doing that, just kind of keep my head down, keep working.
Azeez added to the room. Interesting story for him because he's coming here from the Niners where he was kind of the backup. Like, what is it for you to have that leadership quality? He feels like he just fits right in.
Yeah, I feel like Azeez has been awesome for our room from a leadership perspective for sure. Coming from, like you said, coming from the Niners, they played great defense over there, especially in the backer room. So kind of being around that, he's bringing over a lot of kind of a different perspective, different approach, and a lot of veteran leadership and kind of a good calming presence. And so it's been awesome getting to learn from that.
You like having the officials out here today? What's that like?
Yeah, it's good to work with those guys. I mean, they're going to be calling our games, so just to ask them how they see things, if they think that like something we're doing might get called or maybe something we could get away with more. It's good to just talk to them and see how they're going to call things for sure.
So there's the guy affectionately known as Dr. Gibby from Mike Vrabel. I feel like a smart linebacker and a cerebral guy like him is Mike Vrabel's favorite kind of football player.
I think so. I really do, Will. And you can tell from just the way he answered my questions, he would go into depth about things and give perspective that I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's interesting. And, you know, everything from his journey, and the biggest thing that I took out of that is I took advantage of opportunity. When guys went down last year, I took advantage of opportunity, something that we've seen a couple guys here of recent, Jamarco Jones, not do.
Yeah.
And that guy has done it in terms of Jack Gibbons, Dr. Gibby. And it just seems like the competition in that room is really good right now. because we mentioned Monty Rice too, who's in back of him, but Monty's playing good football too, and Monty's all about business as well. He goes out there, he wants to play football, he wants to win a starting spot, right? The competition is good. You've got Aziz Al-Shayer that's bringing new leadership to that room. It's a really strong position group.
Mike Vrabel clearly sees some of himself in Jack Gibbons and likes players who speak his language.
Sure.
We said the same about Aaron Brewer last year. Is Mike Vrabel too reliant on players who remind him of himself as a player?
It worked for him. This is my thing, though, about I'm with you on that, but I look at these spots that he has guys like him. Let's go Brew, Dr. Gibby. I would even almost throw Jeff in that conversation, too.
I think Amani Hooker is someone you could throw in that
that
conversation.
And Arden. That ain't a bad group, though. It's a matter of how the rest of the team is crafted, like having solid role players, you know what I'm saying, that come in like a Tier. And I hate calling him a role player, but like as far as like where he falls in it, like he plays his spot well.
But what about Jadeveon Clowney and Jonathan Joseph?
I don't think they were Vrabel like.
I don't either.
Yeah, they were, because they were from Houston. Like he knew them from Houston. Like I'm talking about not necessarily seeing himself in them
Like
specifically.
personality
Okay,
is
I
not
thought
what
you
you're saying.
meant-
Okay.
Okay.
Well, but I think it's the same topic, though, because he knew what it was like to work with them, and Mike Vrabel relies on players he's familiar with. Whether he's familiar with them as in, hey, we've worked together in the past,
Yeah.
or, hey, you just remind me of myself when I was a player.
This is what you're saying where this happens and you get burned by a guy like Jamarco? Is that what we're correlating it to
He
a
knew
little bit?
Jamarco Jones in high school.
I think I'll split
ahead.
it up. I think he has the familiarity thing that Vrabel does. We all know that. The Houston guys, maybe a little bit of the OSU guys. I think there's that. And then I think there's a different side. What guys that remind Vrabel of Vrabel as a player. Hardworking, little chip on their shoulder, have to really grind.
Yeah.
I think that's separate from the other thing. I think there's two different things.
I'll roll with you on that one. I think it's two different things. Relationships matter at all levels.
Especially to Vrabel.
At all levels. I will say that. And pros do shuffle stuff around when it comes down to who you want to hire and stuff like that. You know what you know when it comes down to it. Sometimes it just doesn't work in a new environment like some of those guys they have brought in like Jadeveon Clown. He would have tricked anybody, I feel like.
He's still tricking people, I feel like.
I would have signed Clowney just because of what I think I can get.
And I'm simply asking the question because I think it's an interesting conversation considering Gibbons emerging into a starting role and the conversation that they had around players who loved ball. That was the thing coming out of the COVID year and the COVID draft was, well, we want guys that love ball because clearly Isaiah Wilson didn't. Loved yachts and making music more than he loved ball. So I just want to ask the question because I think that's going to be a theme of this season, guys, is players that remind Mike Vrabel of himself and players that Rand Carthon believes he can bet on athletic ability to be coached up by Mike Vrabel.
Sure.
When Mike Vrabel can identify with some of those guys. So something to watch this season.
is.
I don't think we have an answer to that question right now because I think in a lot of ways you have a clean slate under new management. To where what's the overlap? What's the Venn diagram between who Rand Carthon identifies with and who Mike Vrabel identifies with? I think we get that question answered this season as Vrabel gets more a little bit more influence. 615-737-1045. Our number as we continue. One guy we have not mentioned yet, who is my third surprise on the depth chart, is a guy who's changed positions, maybe officially now. We'll get into that coming up next on RKW. Wrapping up the first half of the show on a Tuesday morning edition. It is RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Question we asked before the break: is Mike Vrabel too reliant on quote-unquote Mike Vrabel guys that maybe remind him of himself as a player? We go to the phones to answer that question, where Mike in Cleveland is up first this morning. What's up, Mike?
What up, Mike?
What up? How y'all doing, man?
Feels good to hear this voice. Means football season is back.
Yeah, buddy. We gonna get it in. Yes, sir. Y'all right down there? Y'all staying dehydrated? Y'all staying hydrated? I heard that heat, is killing y'all down there.
Serious.
But
it really is.
Yeah, man, I heard. But look, so pretty much, Will, man, dog, you take a lot of flack. You do, but I agree with you on what you're saying, bro. Because I went into the season. You remember that when they fired J-Rob, I called in, last year, and I was like, yo, this is Vrabel's team. This is him now. And so now to see that we picked up D-Hop, we constantly keep getting guys that was from Houston, that was Vrabel's guys, from back in the day from the Texans. If this don't work out with D-Hop, I'm like, I don't want any more of Vrabel's, familiarity guys, the guys that he has relationships with. I'm sorry, I don't. You dig? I'm optimistic, but I'm battered. You feel me?
Sure.
Like Bert said, it's cool to fill in the gap, like the cornerback Mitchell that came in for one game last year, and he did a good job. But sometimes what used to was just need to be that what used to be. And we need to move on with making a roster that's truly of
Homebred guys.
Of our own, yes, our own homegrown guys. Thank you. But that's it, man. I just wanted to call in and say that, let y'all know that everything is all good, and man, everybody stay blessed. Tighten up, deuces.
Thank you, Mike.
Nothing like a mic call with beeps in the back, baby.
Right? At least he's not getting pushed out of the way by a tractor or whatever it was that one time.
Yeah.
Well, that was taking a whole new turn.
He told us I'm going to have to call y'all back.
We go from Mike in Cleveland to Michigan in Murfreesboro.
Oh.
Hey.
Good morning, Michigan. What's up?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
I love this topic. I do want to agree with your thought process here. I do think Vrabel favors guys that either remind him of himself or fit a paradigm that he's particularly, partial to. However, I do want to say I don't think that's uncommon, especially in the National Football League. Right. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. The Belichick family tree, right? Mm-hmm. How many wide receivers did Belichick pass over to take guys like Edelman and Welker who fit his scheme and worked out very, very well in his scheme? I mean, Edelman might even be a Hall of Famer. And I wouldn't have thought that when I was watching him at Minnesota. Who did Belichick learn from? Parcells. Parcells carried Vinny Testaverde around, like extra luggage to all of his stops. Not that Vinny was a bad quarterback, but how many other quarterbacks did he pass over? And the Godfather, who a lot of NFL head coaches come off the family tree of, Bill Walsh. Do I need to remind anybody that Bill Walsh passed over – a lot of people passed over Tom Brady, but Bill Walsh passed over a lot of quarterbacks for, Giovanni Carmazzi, a guy out of Hofstra who looked like his type of guy. I just don't think this is that uncommon. I think coaches in every sport get a sense of scotoma, the believer, sees what they want to see when they look at certain players. And that's it. I just want to let you guys respond to that. Love the show. Tighten up. Can't wait for football to start.
Ooh. Thank you, Michigan. Appreciate the call.
Nice. Thank you.
Two calls.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I want to preface this with I don't have the answer to this question. I think we learned the answer to this question this season, though. Mm-hmm. As Mike Vrabel gets more say. And both callers are right that, yes, there is a proof of concept of maybe one too many Houston guys being here and coming in and not exactly living up to what Mike Vrabel wanted from them simply because he'd played for him before. Jonathan Joseph is the worst culprit of that. Still, going back to 2020. But at the same time, totally correct. This is not just a Mike Vrabel thing. This happens all across sports at any level. So the question now becomes, as Mike Vrabel gets more influence, which direction does this franchise go when it comes to him picking the personnel maybe with a little bit of a louder voice in that room?
Yeah, and that's a fair question, and that won't be solved until, like you said, this next year or year after, because there's a lot of people who said, well, whose guy was it, J-Rob or Vrabel, when they brought in this guy or Julio Jones, right? You never really knew. You could guess. Now it's going to kind of be, it was Vrabel, because Vrabel's going to have the influence on Rand. But they're doing it in Atlanta too. Atlanta's taking all of the guys that were here.
That's so true.
That's right. 615-737-1045. More of your phone calls on this coming up. We'll get to Brandon and Lebanon when we come back. And we'll also hear from Mike Vrabel on one great move he made yesterday on who will be the head coach for Saturday's preseason game. The story behind Terrell Williams and why he'll be taking the headset. This is great stuff from the head coach coming up next on RKW.
What's going on, all you heathens and hooligans? Good morning. It's just about 8 o'clock, 30 seconds from it. From the 104.5 The Zone Studios, I'm Robert Walsh. Mike Vrabel announced yesterday that assistant head coach and defensive line coach Terrell Williams is going to serve as the Titans head coach this weekend against the Bears in Chicago. That's Saturday at noon. Vrabel's still going to be on the sideline assistant, just giving an opportunity to one of his assistants. Speaking of the Titans, their week 1 opponent looking for some reinforcements in the wake of a 3-game suspension for Alvin Kamara. Kamara, who was I talking about? Bringing in running back Kareem Hunt on a free agent visit. Hunt played all 17 games for the Browns last year, rushing for 468 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. The Texans put some information out yesterday as D'Amico Ryans said that the number 2 overall pick, C.J. Stroud, is going to start Thursday's preseason opener against the Patriots, but not with the full offensive line, as Tyus Howard is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing hand surgery yesterday, giving him a chance to come back for the regular season, but he will miss the preseason. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome to your Tuesday morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to join in on the Titans topics this morning. And if you want to complain about something, because coming up in 20 minutes, it is our weekly time to vent, to bloviate. It's You're Not That Guy coming up at 8:20. That's Ramon Foster.
Pal, trust me, you're not that guy.
Who is that guy? There's Kayla Anderson. Robert Walsh behind the glass. I'm Will Bowling. Coming up in hour 4, we've got Ron Slay on a show that's rolling on by.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, we will see a new head coach on the sidelines for the Tennessee Titans. Terrell Williams, 25-year NFL coach, who is the defensive line coach for the Tennessee Titans, will get an opportunity to roam the sidelines with the headset on and be the head coach. And I love everything about this.
Yep.
From Mike Vrabel. And I think when it comes to empowering coaches and empowering young people, or simply people that haven't gotten an opportunity to be a coordinator or a head coach or anything of that facet. Yes, there are a lot of cookie cutter programs we can enroll people in. There's nothing wrong with those programs, obviously. And there are ways that the NFL and other leagues get people involved as they try to train on the job, so to speak. Those things are fine and good. This is the way you genuinely create change and you create opportunities for people, is on the ground level. Credit to Mike Vrabel for giving a guy who's been in the league for 25 years an opportunity to basically try out and maybe even leave his staff after this season because of the tryout he's going to have. Might be overreaching there, but all that being said, I love everything about this.
As much as we talked about Vrabel, guys, I'll tell you this, as a person, I'll just be up front with it too, as a black person, male, who's been in the NFL and hear the conversation about coaches, opportunities, and stuff like that, I tip my hat to Vrabel and just to his entire staff, too, because Vrabel's staff is just multifaceted with male, female, black, white. It don't matter what's in his staff, and I can appreciate about him, even if Coach doesn't get the opportunity. You know what Vrabel did? He put it out in front of everybody that said, this is a guy that's been in this league way longer than I have on the coaching side, Coach Terrell Williams, and he needs a shot and an opportunity. It ought to let you know the brain trust and the trust that he has in an individual. It's nothing better than knowing you're working with somebody, or for somebody in this case, because Vrabel's the head coach, right? That when you walk in the building, you know they got your back. Vrabel's got his guys and ladies' backs and his staff's back. And, again, as much that we try to, move the line as far as what's acceptable, Vrabel, you're a far and above on this one. I knew what this was. I figured it out. You know what I'm saying? He needs his guys to shine. He probably looked at him every day like, why am I in this position and you're not also? So however you feel about it, Vrabel, or however you look at this situation, I tip my hat to you because not many people are willing to be to suppress their egos,
Right.
to put somebody in front of them. Hats off, man. Big time.
And that's what I like about Vrabel as a head coach. He does a lot of different things that make him a good head coach. Relating to the players off the field, but then also being a hard ass on the field.
Yeah.
And then relating to his staff, but also expecting a lot out of his staff during the seasons. He has a big staff. He has added a lot of pieces this year, not only to help the team, but also I think just to give opportunities like this one with Terrell Williams. And speaking on Terrell Williams, from what I have seen since I have been here, anytime I wander on over to that defensive line group, and it is a far part of the field, so you don't get over there often, I love listening to Terrell Williams coach, and his players love listening and learning from him as well. I hope to talk to Big Jeff today about it because I'm sure he will be thrilled that his D-line coach is getting a chance to coach in an actual preseason game. But hats off to Vrabel, yes, for allowing this to happen and to not just saying, hey, we're doing this Rooney rule like this way. We're going to do this and give them even more leverage.
And I think when you talk about the diversity and the opportunity for Terrell Williams specifically in that context, Ramon, this is more than just the NFL checking a box and saying, all right, we checked the diversity box, right?
Right.
This is meaningful. This is a legitimate opportunity where you only get 3 of these opportunities every preseason. This, to me, moves the needle much more than just, hey, let's just do a little program. That way we can check the box. And, and I'm not implying that specifically about the NFL, but I think sometimes in sports, that becomes a crutch for us in professional sports specifically, where we check the diversity box just to ultimately make money and bring sponsors in who want to also be a part of that.
Yep.
I hope I'm characterizing this the right way, Ramon, and the way this makes sense, because I would imagine you have the same feelings about this as well from conversations we've had before.
No doubt. Or I've been asked because I played for a black coach, like, man, how come you don't have more black people on the staff? Like, why is that a question right now, though? But since that is a question, let's address it. As far as the coaches in this league, Vrabel's in a position where he's comfortable. He has a black GM, he has a female team owner, majority owner. Like, the way he has kind of grabbed onto this organization and ran it, I think is the way we as a society sometimes need to look at that and say, it don't matter how you get about to this point. If you do good work, then we're going to work with you. And that's the one thing I can appreciate about Vrabel. We talk about his guys in the last hour. Is that point, though, Will, this goes further than just a weekend where we put on shirts.
Right.
This goes further than I ain't going to say a salute to service because we know what that means. But, like, to say it, to buy the gear, but to actually put action behind what you're believing in, Coach Terrell Williams, right? 25-plus years coaching.
Yes.
Never sniffed the OCDC head coaching position. You got to pay that off because it's a guy like him that paved the way for Vrabel. There's no telling how Vrabel leans on him or whatever the case may be. So I can't say it enough. Tip your hat off to a guy that don't need no press behind it because the question he was asked yesterday by everybody, even some very respected people, by Queen T, Teresa Walker. So he was just like, well, you got to ask Coach Terrell. I won't be doing anything. It was good that he removed himself.
Yeah.
To be like, no, watch how bright Coach Terrell is. Watch how he's able to, manage his team. Win, lose, or draw, Vrabel has struck a chord to bring a different Rooney rule to this, Will, right? Kayla?
Yeah.
Like, we kind of know the Rooney rule is flawed.
Well, yeah.
Oh, they already know who they're going to hire before. That's the truth behind it.
Yeah.
Vrabel's like, nah, let's go ahead and put it out front. I'm removing myself to show you what this coach is capable of.
And look, it caught wind quick. The minute it was put out there, you've got national people, again, who I don't really care much about, but you got national people who are writing about this. And I did love Ryan Clark, who retweeted and said, this is the kind of stuff we need to do forward thinking with this type of stuff that actually means something.
Yeah, definitely.
615-737-1045 is our number. Let's go to Scott in Franklin, who's up first here in hour number 3. What's up, Scott?
Hey, guys. Leadership, good leadership doesn't produce great followers. It produces more leaders. And I think what Vrabel's doing here is showing everybody, not just African-American coaches, but every coach in the league that you come to the Titans, we're going to make you a better leader, and we're going to give you opportunities to showcase that. So I think it's also going to attract more coaches that want to be here who, will make our organization better as a whole. So I think it's a total package sales pitch here. Love it.
Yep.
Thank you, Scott.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Love
the
that,
call.
Scott. Love that, Scott.
Let's go to Brandon in Lebanon, talking about Mike Vrabel guys and whether he maybe also realized too much on them. That was our conversation in hour 2 when it comes to the player perspective. What's going on, Brandon?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are y'all doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good.
Hey, I kept getting hung up on you guys yesterday, so I apologize. But hey, I want to give a shout out to Kayla real quick, man. You killed it at the Big Machine this past weekend. I was there, and it was phenomenal. But you did a really good job. I just want to give a shout out to you, Kayla.
Hey, thanks, Brand. I appreciate it.
So about this Vrabel thing, so my thing is athleticism notices athleticism. So when you have guys that you've played with or you've been around and you've noticed that their athleticism and stuff like that, he's going to bring people in that he saw something in them. And like Coach Mack says, you can't teach athleticism, but you can tweak and you can mold to what you want them to be and how you want them to perform. So I kind of agree with it, but I kind of don't, because it's just the athletic ability that you're able to perceive and be able to put out there. And when people notice it, and then you start getting coaches' ears or coaches' mouths in your ears, then you start listening to what they're telling you, and you start performing in your own sense, because you're learning the mechanisms of what they're wanting you to be, and they're polishing you up. So I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a great one.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon.
Hope that turn goes well.
He did have a signal on, didn't he?
Well, like when Mike in
Right.
Cleveland's backing up and you can hear the truck beeping. Like, oh, hey, I hope you back that thing up, Brett. Out of context. Wow, what a statement. Coming up. It's You're Not That Guy. Where
You're not right now.
we provide the context on all things negative on the internet and beyond. Hope you back that thing up well into another segment on
Juvenile
104.5 The
next.
Zone.
Ooh, hey. Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. Yes, they'll be taking advantage, like you should be, of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GI diamond engagement rings marked down by extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price. That's right. So the vault is open and Genesis is selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock bottom prices for a very limited time, too. The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy and documenting quality, so you can buy with confidence like I did, okay? Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event, from a half a carat up to 20 carat stones, all shapes too, rounds, radiant pear shapes, princess cut, emerald cuts, cushion cuts, ovals, whatever you need, they got it. There has never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GI certified diamond perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring than now. So hurry in for the best selection. It's Genesis Diamonds GIA Extravaganza. Save an extra 20% on these rare precious diamond rings now for a limited time. One per customer, please, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds, located in Green Hills and Cool Springs. See store for details.
It is time for You're Not That Guy on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, coming up here in a matter of seconds. You can call in at 615-737-1045. Load up those phone lines and get ready to declare that someone in your life, in your timeline, or anything in between is not that guy. But first, we'll go back to the phones where Larissa is in Nashville talking about Coach Terrell Williams getting the head coaching gig this weekend for the Titans. What's up, Larissa?
Hi, good morning, you guys. I love this station. I love all the shows. I mean, literally. 104.5 is throwing it out of the park. Amazing. I would say that the Titans organization, it seems to me, to be a little ahead of the game. They're very proactive, and sadly, we are still, as a woman and a woman of color, I mean, there are many times that people still do things on the down low. We still live in a world where, music and sports and I guess you would say those are the times that you can get a high five on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday. And then on a Monday, there are still those same people that high five you that will not even speak to you. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's amazing. And actually, that's probably even putting it a little further ahead. I just love the fact that the Titans organization is doing something that the other teams in the NFL should probably take a page out of the playbook and do the same thing. Fact. It's like, okay, it's all an equal playing field, and this is going to be a great season for the Titans. I can feel it. And you guys are, again, love this show, love this station. And I'm glad that Coach is doing something that a lot of folks have not done.
Mm-hmm. Great call, Larissa.
Thank you, Larissa. Appreciate that.
It's Queen Larissa and Queen Teresa.
That's how we roll. And you call back anytime, Larissa. I promise you're going to get through.
All right. Well, from that positivity to now negativity.
Oh,
it is
just
time
like that.
for You're Not That Guy. That is right. 615-737-1045 is how you join us and complain about someone in your life. Where's the spirit moving today? Who's batting leadoff?
I went last week.
You went last week? I got this one.
You step up to the plate,
I
there,
got this one. Y'all ready? And it's going to be quick. And it's been sweeping the nation with this news article right here, okay? How does a fight go national, okay? Let's go to Montgomery, Alabama, all right? And me, I'm a person that I say this because I was taught this. You always respect people who service you, right? Janitors, cooks, servers, flight attendants, people that work at the docks, okay? The crew at the docks whenever you're docking your boat. There was a situation that happened in Montgomery, Alabama, y'all. If you hadn't seen this melee, you are missing out. And the memes behind it are even better, man. But there's a crew member working at a Montgomery, Alabama pier that was telling his family, hey, you got to move your boat. This ferry's coming in, and we got to park it right here. Can you move your boat out the way? The people on the other end that owned the small pontoon boat decided they wanted to go with the crew member that worked at the Montgomery pier, and it turned into a nationwide story, y'all. These people were swimming across the water to jump in on this fight because they jumped up on this crew member, and it turned into a melee out of this world. To the people that didn't want to move their pontoon boat, for the folks that thought they were bigger than what the rules suggested and thought they could just jump one individual, and he had a whole group of friends behind him helping him out. If you hadn't seen this video and the parody behind it also, man, gosh, don't ruin stuff for people that are servicing you and serving you in certain ways. So to those people that jumped that man and also got beat in the head by chairs and everything else, Bert, hit it for him, man.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
That was just wrong, man. What y'all doing?
That's a sensation indeed.
That is a sensation. They are not those guys, though.
They are not.
My You're Not That Guy goes to the cheapest and most pathetic organization in professional sports who not only don't win on the field, now they're losing off the field. Yes, I'm talking about the Baltimore Orioles, who are having a terrific 2023, yet have suspended broadcaster Kevin Brown for giving proper context and telling a story. That's what the job is if you're a play-by-play broadcaster. Here is the audio in question from a recent television broadcast when the Baltimore Orioles took on the Tampa Bay Rays that got play-by-play broadcaster Kevin Brown suspended.
For the Orioles, Brandon Hyde has felt like this has been maybe the toughest ballpark to play in, but the Orioles have a chance to do something special today. They've already clinched at least a split in the series, winning 2 of the first 3, and they could pick up a series win behind Tyler Wells today. It's been a minute. The Orioles split a 2-gamer with the Rays in June. They had lost their last 15 series here at Tropicana Field. You have to go back to when our now colleague Brad Brock picked up the win in the series finale June 25th, 2017, the last time the Orioles won a series here at St. Pete. Already got 3-2 at the Trop this year after winning 3 of 18 the previous 3 years combined. It is a stark difference, Ben, and it is not a bad Rays team. It's not like all of a sudden the Rays became slouches in the American League East. They've led this division every day but now 2, and the Orioles once again are back alone in first place.
Yeah. What a wild concept. You give a current team credit because past teams have had trouble going to a place. You know what? I guarantee you that when Tennessee plays Florida this year, everyone and their mother is going to be talking about the fact that they haven't won there since 2003. That is a pivotal part of that story, and yet you're giving your current team credit if they do get a series win there. To the pathetic, thin-skinned Baltimore Orioles, who got rid of John Miller, one of the best broadcasters in all of baseball, for something like this, too. I tell you that you've now taken an L off the field as big as the ones you normally take on the field. Baltimore Orioles.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You're not that guy.
No. Bert, why don't you go?
That's tough.
Because
right
I don't want to steal yours, and I've got 2. So.
Bert, are you an Orioles fan just to start with? Because I want to trash them with Will, but are you an Orioles fan?
I am not an Orioles fan.
Good. They suck for that, man. That's terrible. That sucks.
What a lame bird.
For telling the truth.
So, Kayla, you could not take mine unless you have been at my house in the last few days and I didn't know about it because I've got to throw Cheyenne under the bus just a hair, just a little bit. And really, this is more for me than it is for her because maybe I'm not that guy. Maybe I need to be humbled a little bit. So Cheyenne and we never have really serious arguments. We never get into things that like, it's always something like you left the toilet seat up or why didn't you do this? It's always dumb things we get in arguments about. So last night, I come to work and I do not eat anything. 1, because I am forgetful. 2, because I am lazy. I'll make lunch and forget it. But I said, to hell with that. I'm tired of being hungry at work. I'm tired of having foggy brain. I'm going to make me something to eat. And the feeling that struck me was I wanted some egg salad. I don't know what it was. Boy, I wanted some egg salad bad. So I boiled me 6 eggs. I put them together. And Cheyenne said, why are you eating that old man food? Egg salad is old man food now? Am I in the wrong here? Or is that something only for our geriatric older veterans or something? Am I not allowed to eat egg salad in my own house or at work? So I need to know, is egg salad just for old people?
No.
I've never had egg salad before.
So you've never had egg salad?
Never in my life.
Are you
have
not
I
a
had egg
mayonnaise
salad.
guy or not an egg
really.
guy?
I am an egg guy.
So, Bert, I know it's not because when I was in daycare at the age of whatever that was, 6 or 7, our caretaker would make us egg salad sandwiches.
Protein.
Okay?
Yeah.
I would bury them in the pea rocks because at the time I did not like egg salad sandwiches. But now, Bert, I'm not old and I eat egg salad sandwiches.
I love it.
And I do appreciate them now.
She always makes fun of me for getting egg salad sandwiches at gas stations. And now I have been. No, everybody spoke their word on it. Egg salad sandwich from gas stations is
It's
okay.
like sushi at a gas station.
And I'll eat that too.
Don't knock it till you try it.
So, Cheyenne, I have to give it to you.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
All right. Kayla
Okay.
Anderson batting cleanup.
All right, so I had to go with this one. I had two, but I'm going with this one because none of y'all went with it. So Chicago White Sox shortstop Tim Anderson and Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians got into a bit of a brawl on the field. Both of them have been suspended, but the real thing out of all of this, and let me just real quickly set it up for you, Jose Ramirez slid into second. I guess Tim Anderson's groin hit him, and they got into a little bit of a fight. He was pointing his fingers, Ramirez was, at Tim Anderson, but then Tim Anderson took it upon himself to push him in the chest. Then they got into a real-life brawl, and Tim Anderson completely missed. And Jose Ramirez took advantage of it and just knocked him in the side of the jaw. And Tim Anderson, who has gotten into trouble in the past, folks, he's just not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
His Twitter account also is like a middle school boy going through a breakup.
Sure.
Yeah, have you seen the tweet he deleted?
Keep kicking me while I'm down. ...
Everybody hurts. Oh my God.
It's like when people are posting, things like this.
There it is.
Keep on kicking me while I'm down.
Oh my God.
So he deleted a tweet that said, "I'm about to go to sleep."
He had another one that said, "Since when are losers allowed to have opinions?" Well, that's the only reason I have a job.
By
Hope
the
you
way-
picking up what I'm putting down. The picture bigger. ...
No.
Tim Anderson.
Tim. But apparently he's been like messing with rookies and young guys
He
in the
has
league for a
been.
little while, so he owned that
And
one.
here's the other thing. Don't mess with Jose Ramirez. He's an actual legit dude. Dude, that guy is beloved in the league, not just on his team.
There you go.
He's got some mitts on him, too.
Yeah, he does.
Apparently.
Let's go, Jose.
That was the undercard for the UFC over the weekend. Tim Anderson versus Jose Ramirez.
Let's get him in the ring.
Back to the phones. Ryan in Lebanon leads us off with your Not That Guy this morning. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, Ryan?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
So mine is Jamarco Jones. He's definitely not that guy. Why are you trying to fight on the field, man? We're trying to bring a championship to Nashville.
That's solid.
Fair.
As fair as
Very
it get
true.
right there.
Thank you,
That's
Ryan.
easy. You hit that for him, Burke, one time, man. I don't know if we gave Jamarco that one at any point.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Jamarco Jones known more as a fighter than a blocker
Yeah.
as a Tennessee Titan.
Shut up.
It's true.
Please,
He
shut
fought more than he blocked. He didn't
Yeah.
on the field.
You ain't wrong.
I'm a blocker, not
So-
a fighter.
He still blocked about as much as Dennis Daly.
Well,
but-
that's the thing. Can we keep the double letters out? JJ, DD? Like, keep them out.
Straight up.
Just keep them out.
Straight up.
It's fair. Ryan is in Shelbyville. Up next, 615-737-1045 if you would like to jump in. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, guys? Good morning.
Morning.
Bert, egg salad is definitely not geriatric food. It's actually the food of choice for my wife when she's pregnant. So you can share that info with your wife, woman to woman.
Oh, no.
There.
I've been
I
feeling a
don't
rumbling in my belly, so maybe I've got something.
Robert, how far along are you?
But You're Not That Guy goes to Aaron Boone as a lifelong Yankees fan. I am so freaking sick and tired. He has been ejected from more games. He's actually managed us to a win this year and probably over his entire tenure as our head coach. Brian Cashman, if you don't fire him, Steinbrenner needs to fire you and him. Aaron Boone, you are not that guy, man. Not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Thank you, Ryan.
He's been ejected from 6 games this year.
That leads the American League.
Lovely.
Jeez.
Get some wins.
According to Umpire Auditor on Twitter, I hardly know her, Laz Diaz, the home plate umpire, which I know Laz Diaz's name, which
Is that
means
AI?
he's a bad, what?
I said, is that AI?
Yeah, that's a fair question on
What do you
social
mean?
media.
The umpire.
Oh.
I'm
yeah,
joking.
It should be.
Right?
He missed 21 calls, and 14 of them went against the Yankees, apparently. So Aaron Boone then got ejected for the 6th time this season.
That's about right.
Aaron Boone losing his pinstripes.
I knew
guess.
he was a goober when he was doing broadcasting.
Really?
Yeah.
For real.
Never liked him.
Oh.
Never liked him.
It was funny though. He did impersonate Laz Diaz and did his strikeout gesture behind the plate after he got ejected. I do love it though. I will say this. I love it when guys get their money's worth after they've gotten ejected and just go berserk and just start you know what? I'm gonna have some fun with this.
Yeah. Lou Piniella did it back in the day.
Bobby Cox, the all-time leader in ejections.
Yep.
I feel like we don't have enough managers that get ejected anymore. Like the ejections, I feel like big ejection is down.
Oh gosh,
they're fighting against the. What's your favorite move after they've already tossed them? Is it the finger poke of doom in the chest, or my personal favorite, the kicking of dust on the
kicking
plate?
is good. I'm gonna go with the chest bump, not just because Tony Vitello did that and got suspended, but because I think it's so funny when you've got two guys that are just chest to chest up against each other, but they're trying to put their heads down. That way the brims of their hat don't hit each other. Yeah. And it's somebody's got to be the hi hat here, and it's going to be me. And there's just,
It would be so tough for me if a hostile situation, not to just plan a quick little peck on somebody. Just be
break this up.
Yeah, I know you ain't going to want to fight me now after I done kissed you, after I laid these luscious lips on you.
You sound like Taylor Lewan.
I love when they draw the lines in the dirt. They're just going to town. Sketching in the dirt.
I was having this conversation with my son the other day. I was like, you know what? I love this type of fighting stuff and ejection stuff. I do feel like in sports we've gotten a little bit too close to each other. You know what I'm saying? A little hatred is good for sports, y'all. Keep it on the field. A fight or two breaking out. I'm not Jamarco Jones and out here, you feel me? But a little scuffle every once in a while is it might be do it for the sports culture, is what I'm telling you. I like a little aggressiveness towards one another.
Problem is that Aaron Boone is, you got to also win some games.
Okay.
You've got to meet expectations for your franchise in order to be ejected that much.
I'm here for a little fight and scuffles though, Kayla.
I thought the Tim Anderson and Jose Ramirez was hilarious, but then again, I'm in the Am I an outsider on that?
I like the Tim Anderson thing.
Great.
I thought it was good for her. That dude,
knock him in his place.
He hit that button on that chin. You can't be out here fighting and knuckling up and you got a soft chin. That's all I'm saying. I want to give him you're not that guy again, Bert. You feel me?
Hit it.
You can't be that dude.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
And he's the one that pulled his fists out, right? He's the one that pulled his glove off first. Man, you've got to, if you're going to do that, you got to be batting cleanup, dog.
Oh, heck
you got to be putting somebody on the ground.
I just saw another picture. Where was he from? A guy went around too far with his bat, and apparently it's hands off the catcher.
That happens. Yeah.
Nobody taps the hat of the catcher, and you know what happened? His pitcher, the next at bat,
threw at him.
He tagged the hitter, and I was like, you know, yes.
I think that was Cardinals Cubs.
It was.
Was it?
That's hit him with the ball.
Yeah, because Wilson Contreras had to leave the game with a concussion after it happened.
And you know what? The next at bat, he respected it. It was like, that's fair.
Former teammates too. Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras, and he tapped him on the shoulder and was like, "I deserve that."
And he didn't beam him real hard, but he let him be like, "Bro,
yeah,
there's rules to this."
This is very good. I love this old man take from you.
Yeah,
this is great.
Yeah,
Look,
you
don't have a lot of old man sports takes.
Hey, man, nah, I'm into that. hey, Will, hey, Bert, Kayla. Football.
Here we go.
We're in it.
Football.
Yeah, football.
All right, Joe Hunk.
Football.
Yeah, that was Joe Heasy.
That's Joe Hunk.
We're back, baby. And you know what's even cooler? We can admit football season has taken us to a different realm. I don't know who's doing this. Whichever one of you fools, in the words of Babs, has been sending fall collages to my Instagram algorithm.
What?
First and foremost, thank you.
Hey,
I'm
me.
I'm 2
Is that
days
on your
in
Pinterest board,
Oh,
Ramon?
my gosh. It's on my story 2 days in a row now.
Bert, is that you?
Is that you liking fall stuff, Bert?
Oh, I'm just telling you, I can't wait for it to get chilly, man. That's when my
that's him.
wardrobe
That's probably,
expands.
honestly, from your phone listening to me talk about pumpkin spice.
Oh.
Because all of our mics are on and listening to us at all times.
There it is.
Listen, if liking pumpkin spice is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Hey,
I'll be
dog.
left.
There it is.
Little fights here and there. Little fan-to-fan aggressiveness without, stabbing somebody like the 49er fans do. I'm into that.
Me too.
Coming up, what Mike Vrabel had to say yesterday about Terrell Williams coaching Saturday's preseason game. We'll hear that audio next on 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Zen Sports. Saw my people yesterday actually at the Zone Golf outing, man. Real good. A lot of folks actually signed up here with Zen Sport on the spot, too. And that's because they are the new sports betting app in Tennessee, revolutionizing sports betting rewards. And what have I told you? You're wasting your time and money betting on any other sports book that's not Zen Sports. Zen Sports offer real cash rewards for those lucky enough to be in Tennessee, and that means no funny money, points, or credit. We're talking about hard, straight cash here, okay? For a welcome bonus, you can earn 5% cash back on every bet you place for your first 15 days with no limit on your bonus when you use referral code, and earn up to 3% cash back on your bets after that with Zen Sports Loyalty Program. So make the switch today and start betting on Zen Sports. Your wallet will thank you later. I promise you that. And if you do have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. You must be 21 years and older and present in Tennessee to bet.
Continuing your Tuesday morning on RKW right here on 104.5 The Zone. The Titans get on the practice field coming up within the hour. Get you one more report of what happened yesterday coming up here in just a few minutes. 615-737-1045. If you have more submissions on You're Not That Guy. Want to hear from Mike Vrabel, though, and what he had to say specifically about Terrell Williams, the defensive line coach, coaching Saturday's preseason game against the Chicago Bears. This was Vrabel at the podium after practice on what's going on Saturday.
No, I mean, just the ability to develop and teach players. And again, it wasn't about his ability to coach Jeff Simmons or develop some of those guys. This is an opportunity that was earned and deserved because of the vision that I think I have and his ability to reach, again, have conversations with all different players and people in our organization from different positions and different backgrounds. So, what about the...
There you go.
Wow. Good for him. Did exactly as we thought he was going to do in that situation right there, Kayla. Highlighting his staff, man. Some coaches do believe in, hey, elevation makes me look good as far as coaches getting shine. And some honestly have that I got to protect myself mentality. Just look around the league. You'll see which ones they are as far as, how they go about it, and they'll never admit it, and they probably don't realize they're doing those things. But Vrabel is very outward in his quest to have coaches go be head coaches at other places. Arthur Smith, he's got to be rooting for Arthur bigger than almost anybody in the industry right now because he's a direct, under boss of his.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And he was asked about, when did you start thinking about this? And he said, well, we had some conversations earlier this summer about it and obviously plan to put it in action. He said Terrell Williams will be at the podium after the game on Saturday, which will be kind of interesting also, kind of having him field the questions from reporters. I think he made a joke. I asked a question about the quarterbacks. He said, that's Terrell Williams' job now to let you know. I said, okay, I see what you're doing here, Coach.
Yeah, honestly, it's a long con for Mike Vrabel not to have to talk to the media. One less press conference he has to do.
It is.
Smart.
It
Chestnut
is.
checkers.
So I guess the real question asks, what is Vrabel's task on this? Is he to find, the deep dish pizza spot? Like,
there we go.
Is he finding a Chicago dog? Like, what is Vrabel doing this trip there?
Yeah.
He's got dinner
Ball boy,
itinerary.
maybe?
Ball boy.
He'd be good
The
at that.
get back coach.
The get back coach.
Vrabel's the get back coach. So he'd be the
what
best
role
one
should he
at
play?
that.
That should be our question.
I won't get back. Yeah, that's the poll question for us for the rest of this
sure.
weekend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get back coach, assistant water boy.
Sure.
Or will he be up in the booth instead of down on the field? So many questions for Vrabel.
I don't know if he could handle that.
Me either.
Philip in Nashville is up next on You're Not That Guy, 615-737-1045. What's up, Philip?
What up, Philip?
Hey, I'm gonna have to go with the last caller that said Boone is not that guy, but how managers when they go to home plate or go wherever, first, second, third, wherever they're going to argue, they can change the dynamic of a game with an argument or an ejection. It's unreal. I'm a Major League Baseball guy. Watch it all the time. Guys like Bobby Cox, I've seen the Braves down by 4 or 5 runs in the 6th or the 7th inning. He go out, run the gamut, Braves come back and win. But everybody forgets about Torrey. Torrey with the Athletics and then with St. Louis. I remember the Athletics playing the Rangers one time being down by 8 runs in the 5th inning. And it just changed the dynamic and the way the guys felt, how he went out there and took control of the game and fought for his players. They turned out and won that game. Then St. Louis was playing the Cubs, and Lou Piniella was the manager, and both of them got ejected out of the same game in the same inning.
Thank you, Philip.
That was solid.
That is true, but last night the Yankees lost 5-1, so it didn't work. They lost their second in a row. They're also in last, so
A little different.
I don't know
if
I don't know if it's working for Aaron Boone. It works for some guys occasionally if you pick your moments, but Aaron Boone has not picked his moments. He's actually picked too many moments because he's leading the league in ejections.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Yeah.
All I know is they're on the wrong side of things and in the wrong market to be losing like this.
They're bad at baseball this year.
Yeah, they
and I'm not
are.
just
You
saying
are
that as a
correct.
Yankee hater. They're in last of the AL East.
They're frustrating a lot of Yankee fans. I'll tell you that much. I see a lot of them on Twitter.
That's okay. Cowboys training camp started.
True.
I wore my Yankee jersey yesterday, just because I
gosh.
randomly wear it. You know how many Braves fans I had coming? It was like,
You're going to wear your Duke basketball jersey tomorrow?
You couldn't find a better jersey? I was like, oh, my God.
You have an Alabama football jersey today?
I wish you would say something
What about Kentucky basketball? You want to just hit for the trifecta?
It's a parking lot out there. We can get real close out there if you want to.
Okay,
There's a
Tim.
dumpster, too. Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you who's going to be Tim in this situation.
You got to catch
who's
me
gonna be
first.
Jose?
Well, you know what? I know what your car looked like.
You got to catch me first.
I know where your apartment is.
We're not in cars.
I know the places
I'm on
you
foot.
frequent.
Coming up, fourth and final hour of the show. We could do this all day. We're just playing ping pong like Dwight and Cousin Moe's down in the basement of Dunne Mifflin. Just
they were legit.
back and forth.
at it,
Ron,
too,
catch up
weren't
on
they?
The Office.
Oh, did y'all watch any of the Ocho stuff too as we go into the break? It was crazy this past weekend.
My hotel I was staying in Memphis had all the channels worked, but ESPN2 didn't work. And I was sitting there trying to watch Slam Ball, and I couldn't watch Slam Ball.
Savannah Bananas.
Memphis Hotel, you're not that guy.
You're not that guy.
Coming up, DeAndre Hopkins has a good day. A full Titans training camp report from yesterday as they get back on the field here shortly. In hour number 4, we'll tell you what to expect coming up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
What's going on? 9 o'clock on the dot from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Robert Walsh. Mike Vrabel announced yesterday, this is the big news from training camp, that assistant head coach and defensive line coach Terrell Williams is going to serve as Titans head coach versus the Bears in Chicago on Saturday. That game is at noon. Vrabel's still going to be their assistant. Just wanted to give an opportunity to one of his assistant coaches. Speaking of the Titans, their week 1 opponent looking for some reinforcements in the wake of a 3-game suspension for Alvin Kamara, bringing in running back Kareem Hunt on a free agent visit. Hunt played in all 17 games for the Browns last year, rushing for 468 yards and 3 more touchdowns. The Texans' right tackle is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing hand surgery yesterday. That's going to give him a chance to make it back for the season opener versus the Ravens, but he will not be playing in the preseason. But someone who will, D'Amico Ryans told the media yesterday, second overall pick C.J. Stroud is going to start the preseason opener against the Patriots. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
And the show goes on for 60 more minutes on your Tuesday morning. Welcome in to RKW, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Kayla Anderson en route to St. Thomas Sports Park. We've got Ramon Foster, Robert Walsh behind the glass, and joining us in 20 minutes, the one and only Ronald Sylvester Slay.
Sly.
That's right.
Sly.
Looking forward to seeing him.
I am too, man.
My name is Will Bowling. I say that now, and that is before he just totally just unpacks my golf game yesterday, which wasn't great, but that's fine. We had a good time.
Man.
Consumed some beverages, some cold ones.
I do think moving forward, I'm going to linger when it comes down to hanging around the golf events.
This is all right. I'm going to give you a charge.
Go ahead. Do that, please.
It is impossible to have a bad time on a 4-man scramble.
Yeah.
Take some lessons.
Yeah.
Go see somebody. Get some clubs that are fit for big man.
Yeah.
Because you don't get those out of the box.
You do not.
And join. We'll make a team next year.
And you know what? I'm here to tell you that might be do it.
Yeah.
Because what I've learned is this. I saw people yesterday that had been golfing, and this is what they do and how they go about their lives. This is their vice, right? Their shots were way worse than mine, Bert. Well,
you should have seen some of mine, man. Oh my gosh,
I feel like
it was a rough day out there.
If I get just a smidge of the technique down, Will, when it comes to golfing, I can. It may be one of those things like, okay, yeah, we can pull this thing off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need a little bit of technique. You know how you first taught how to shoot a jumper? You know what I'm saying? It's the elbow up. It feels funny at first, and then you start making shots like, oh, I can do this. Like, that's what I legitimately felt like yesterday. And I know it's going to be some back and forth, some tug of war with this process, what you call golf. But it was a good time yesterday. The people were awesome.
You coming back.
Somebody had a fake snake on the doggone course that scared the heebie-jeebies out of me, man. But smoked a stogie with my bro, talked a whole lot of trash out there. I heckled Mayor big time.
Good.
Oh my gosh, I let Mayor have it. It was all out of love, but I was just like, this is what you do? Bab's husband, Travis, was legit with it. Dave Elliott was trash. I trashed him yesterday, too, even though we were having good conversation. Dave wasn't trash, though. He's probably listening. He's going to walk up here and talk bad to me. Hunter Rice was there yesterday, too. They had a real good foursome, man. And I tagged along just to critique people and talk trash.
But as far as just like hanging out at these events, I think never before have we had such an eclectic group of people under one radio station roof, where like any event that we do, we could have a water balloon fight. We could have a come watch the paint dry with 104.5 The Zone. And I think it would be interesting. We have another one this Friday, the Zone's birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? We're
Turning 20.
Yep.
Next year we can drink.
Right? So Oddly enough, this is at a brewery, so I don't know what the heck we're supposed to do. Can't even drink for its birthday, you know what I mean?
And y'all in my side of town, too.
That's what I'm saying.
Straight up Madison, man.
For the 21st birthday, we're just going to actually pour alcoholic beverages on, like, the big tower.
Yes.
Where the radio signal comes out of.
I love that.
We're not going to do
Can we
that.
do that from that shotgun in it, base funneling from the top of the tower?
You were talking about you're warming up for tailgate season, aren't you?
It's close. By the way, you mentioned Friday, too, the Zone birthday, man. Just real quick, my anxiety of the season starting to kick in just a smidge,
Is
too.
it? Okay.
'Cause I do have a new assignment this fall.
You do?
Know, filling in for the great Amy Wells, and I'm just like, all right, don't mess this up. And I'm doing certain little checks and balances and stuff like that.
Not really an athlete.
Not really an athlete, small J journalist, never been in this spot before, but I'm really looking forward to it. As you can tell, I'm speaking really, really fast because my nerves are kicking in. But it's little small things. I had to ask Brett early, like, do I order like a Titans tee now? You know, like, do I got to get a polo shirt? And I showed you some shoes I'm looking at because you got to coordinate, even if I'm on the radio. I showed Will these dunks, and you were like, yes, Moan.
Send it.
Send it. Full send.
You got to make sure. The one time I did sidelines, my first ever ESPN broadcast on the sidelines, I had to make sure I had waterproof shoes also. Because that's one thing that can hurt your morale. Like
Sweaty
that
feet.
Is sweaty, or just if it rains at all, or even if it isn't raining, but it rained earlier, or they're watering the field in any context. Get you some waterproof sneakers.
Okay.
That are comfortable.
Okay.
Honestly, like I got some golf shoes yesterday that are like waterproof sneakers.
You were in that, yeah.
That had like the white sole on the bottom, and like something like that would be very helpful.
But I'm even talking about like my wife. I was like, yeah, that's the thing about it is I got to be outside. So if it's raining in Miami, I got to have a raincoat.
Exactly.
The boots for that, and it gets cold here in November.
I would prioritize comfort over style. At first,
you would go comfort over style.
I would start comfort over style and then ease your way into the stylish things that are comfortable.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, yeah, that's right. At the end of the day, you don't want to be like doing a report, you know, somebody's going in the injury tent. You're like, man, I'd get over there faster if my feet didn't kill me right now. Like actually, like you'll probably be sore from literally how long y'all will just be standing out there pacing. The first couple games.
And I've run some trial runs with some shoes I like. Now,
sure.
I'm dad shoe guy to the fullest.
And that's fair.
If you have a child that's 14, I got a whole lot of shoes that wears a size 14, not 14, that I'm probably going to get rid of, though, because I'm comfort and just like dad style now. It's so bad.
So you got the Apostle Paul 11s? The John the Baptist 15s.
That's what Buck be wearing.
All right, but
what really?
No, all the time, man. Those little weird sandals.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I know.
Egyptian shoes.
I know, but like I did trial runs in some Vans. These Vans I got on right now for the Ole Miss game.
Yeah.
So like I wear like Jordan 1s, and I got like some stylish low top shoes. I just wonder for hours will it last on the NFL sideline.
See,
where you at on that?
This is where I think Kayla will get mad at me if she hears me say this, but you've got to, on the sideline, I feel like people do a little too much.
Okay.
Sometime with the shoes.
Okay.
The Jordan 1s are great. I'm all for the Jordan 1s. And Kayla, I'm not talking about Kayla. Kayla has great style when it comes to the footwear. So she may honestly totally agree with me. But there are, you know it when you see it on people that try to do too much with the shoes on the sidelines, and it's like, how in the world are you going to walk around in that and be comfortable?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm interested to see. I'm excited to see you in two-tone blue.
Oh, this is going to be a first. I'm going to be real with you.
Let's go.
This will be a first.
Big time.
And the other portion of it that I'm a little nervous about, too, is that, like, I'm a very open guy. Anytime we go to public, right, it's always, hey, Mon, or something like that pops up. Like me having to tell people, like, hey, look, I'm actually working right now. I got to pay attention to what's going on out here. It's like little small things I'm nervous about, but y'all said it earlier. A little nervousness is a good thing when it's time to perform.
And the good thing to curb that anxiety, there's two things that can happen. You can either fix it or you can't.
Yeah.
That's all. You can either do it or you can't. It's one of the two.
I live in that world. I'm with you on that one. But if y'all see me with gloves and I see Too Sully in the F&M Bank saying, I can't wait to see Mon wearing earmuffs and stuff, you know what? Mind your business, okay? Mind your business.
That is the positive of headphones, is headphones are kind of their own earmuffs.
Yeah.
Another guy says two-tone moan.
Oh,
See what I'm saying?
That goes hard. That will 100% be doing it. Look at, coming soon at Titans Radio Sidelines. It's Mike Keith, Coach Dave McGinnis, and down on the field, Two-Tone Moan.
Oh, my.
Now let's go into the broadcast booth where Rhett Bryan begins our coverage.
I can't wait for it to be a cold game and Moan breaks out the scarf game. I bet Ramon has a killer scarf game.
I like
I'm
it.
gonna be real.
I know you do, man.
Scarf game is on point, and my
Gotta
peacoat,
have a good scarf.
which I didn't really wear the peacoat much at all.
Peacoat's a must.
The wool one,
Peacoat is. I feel like a New Yorker every time I put on my peacoat.
because I hate wearing jackets in cars, and I'm never really outside like that either. So like I'm gonna have to be outside with this jacket on, and I've hardly ever worn it, and it's a custom one too that my old quarterback got.
So there you go.
Fancy, man.
The very large Ben. And so now if you end up creating a new Twitter account at any point, it should just be at Two-Tone Moan. Or you should rename your burner account to Two-Tone Moan.
Hear me out. I got a guy that's working on it.
No way.
Straight up.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
wish I was lying. Breaking news. Hey.
That's awesome.
I got a guy working on it. I hit up one of our a buddy of mine that's an investor with the Steelers, and I was like, hey man, I hate to do this, but I gotta ask a favor for you. It's like, you know anybody that works at Twitter? He was like, yeah, my best friend's Elon's right-hand man.
Wow.
Hey, man.
The heir to
pump
Tesla
these
himself.
follower numbers up, man.
That's bragging camp. You should stay overnight at.
You know what? Where's my cot at? No, but for real, he hit me
Taking
with
sheets
that.
or a sleeping bag? Which one we taking?
I hate, like, if I can't get it on my own, like, I'll like ask him about it. And it took a lot for me to hit him up. And he's been on my mind for a while. I'm like, hey, you know anybody at the Bird, man? And he was like, yeah, Elon's right hand is my best friend. So we gonna see if we get this back.
The Bird.
Mom about to be sleeping in the buff with Elon.
Hey, man. I told him, I was like, I even pay for Twitter. I just, for the job. That's one thing the Bird app does do. It provides a lot of context and stuff. So
sound like Buck.
I know, man. I hate that I'm even talking about it.
Can't wait to dog you for having that blue check mark.
Ooh, I know, Bird. I
Capital
know what
J.
comes with it.
That's what comes with it.
I know what comes with it.
Coming up, Ron Slade joins Two-Tone Moan on the zone right here on the fourth and final hour of RKW. DeAndre Hopkins had an eye-opening day yesterday, according to Jim Wyatt at TennesseeTitans.com. Had a big catch in the back of the end zone for a touchdown in an early 7-on-7 red zone period. Plus, the Titans in 2-on-2s yesterday made some plays. Trayshawn Harrison, Jonathan Ward, Traylon Burks, Chika Okonkwo, Kyle Phillips, all with catches, among others, while the defense shut out the offense in 2-minute drills.
Don't like that.
Offense doing a little better in 2-on-2s and 1-on-1s. We'll get Ron Slade's take on what he's looking for this weekend as the Titans head to Chicago and as Two-Tone Moan continues right here in Hour 4 on 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. And when it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. We're afraid of what we're going to hear. And you know what? This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repair. It could be something big that needs to be fixed now, or it could be a small problem that will become bigger later, or you know what? It may be nothing at all. Bottom line is we don't know, and we certainly don't want to be sold something we're not going to need. What we need is a peace of mind, and United Structural Systems is the company to give you that. Over 25,000 100% satisfied residential customers, and here's how they make this happen. First and foremost, it's the attitude and culture is the reason why United Structural System is what they are, and they keep their employees year after year. You're probably going to see the same familiar faces you're used to, from project managers to customer service to production. Some have even been with United Structural System for 25 plus years, okay? And if you have a foundation repair waterproofing work done, you also have a peace of mind knowing that USF provides an honest diagnosis and stand by the work and warranties. This is huge, and the best thing about it, USS is based right here in Middle Tennessee. They are members of our community, and USS has been in business for 25 plus years, and they aren't going anywhere. This is who you want doing work on your home, and this is who you need to call if you ever do need to use them or that warranty. A company you can trust. They guarantee their best. Homeowners trust USS, and they've been keeping homes dry and stable for over 25 years. They guarantee their best simply by being United Structural System. They serve Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, and Northern Alabama, and you can reach them online at usstn.com or call them 615-488-7855.
Continuing the show in hour number 4 on our mode, Kayla and Will. We'll be joined by Ron Slay in moments.
Mm-hmm.
We did get a confirmation from Kayla Anderson that stylish tennis shoes is the correct way to dress on the sidelines. So we mentioned that, yes, that's what Kayla does.
Yeah.
And that she is smart on the way that you can get stylish stuff that's comfortable.
And that's what I'm trying to decide on with what I got going on is, okay, where do we find the comfort and where do we find style at the same time? Because everybody nowadays, I think what COVID did is relax suits and formalities of dress codes and stuff. And what you're starting to do, which is what our Vols did this year too, Will, was ask Coach, hey, let us have a little flair about this thing without going outside the realm of what is respectable.
Yep.
And that's all I want. Respectable representation with a little bit of flair. That's all. Is that fair?
Respectable representation with a little bit of flair. Okay.
Is that okay? That's a good description?
That's fair.
You get that if I break that down for you,
Yeah,
right?
I'm about it. Two-tone mode.
Picking up. I love it. Go
It's your
ahead.
new man.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, two-tone mode.
Yeah, and then you got buddies of yours texting you about this, too.
Yeah, no, I had a high school friend that you met yesterday, my guy A-Pal, texted me and said, we got to make this a thing. Two-tone moan is sick. Said two-tone moan goes hard. Well, two-tone moan's brother is on the line. Ronald Sylvester Slay joins us this morning. 6'8" man from Nashville, Tennessee. What's up, Slay? How are you?
Man, we're in the gym getting this work in, man. What's
Nice.
happening with y'all, man? We're not here playing around. We came to play, but not around. You hear what I'm talking about?
I'm picking up what you're putting down. You hear me?
You know it. You better believe it. What y'all got shaking this morning, man?
Well, Ramon has a new nickname from the F&M Bank chat because he's talking about some Jordan 1s he's going to buy for the sideline. You know, we're talking about comfort
my
over
dog
style.
one thing, if y'all don't figure it out, my dog's going to be suave and fresh
That's
every
right.
single opportunity is given. Okay.
We are emphasizing comfort and style for this endeavor. You're going to get his steps in. But the nickname was given, now that he's with Titans Radio, Two-Tone Moan on 104.5 The Zone.
Two-tone moan. That's going okay. Who gave him that nickname, though?
It was in the zone chat. I
forget who it was in the F&M Bank chat.
Well, okay, we're going to take it to application, get it in review, and we'll let y'all know.
Okay.
It was our guy from F&M Bank chat, Gbo Hedges is what he said.
Okay. All right. Two-tone moan. It's got a nice little ring to it.
See what I'm saying? There you go.
It's not bad.
It got a nice ring to it. I just know what his bloodstream look like, though. So, you know what I mean?
and that's why they pushing it up the street like that, Dreeland. Is a simple idea. You feel me?
I don't think. See, one thing about it, man, the stuff got to come natural. Hey, you just can't rush. You can't rush and force things just because it seems like that's the cool thing to do. That ain't what it's about. You know what I mean? You got to be innovative in this thing when you start giving out nicknames. You just can't just throw some things together just because a person is in their place. You see that with Vrabel with Terrell Williams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be innovative in it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because it seems like it's cool to do don't mean do it. You just got to be right. You know what I'm saying?
You are the nickname stamper. You
That's
walk
true.
around with a stamp, and you know what? It seems at this point, Savage, they not coming up off of this one.
Slay's the nickname notary.
You are the nickname.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. They ain't got to come up off of it. It's just who's going to call him that. the man got a name, Savage. It don't get no better than that.
We're going to let it carry. How about that? We're going to let it carry. Drew.
We'll see what it do. It might be do it.
It might be do it.
Slay, we were talking earlier about Terrell Williams taking over Saturday and the innovation behind what Mike Vrabel's doing here. And, man, we kind of had a really good, in-depth conversation about this, that yes, programs from organizations and from leagues are beneficial and good things to start a conversation, but the way you genuinely give guys opportunity and create change and help out, your fellow coach, whatever, background they're from, is by doing that on the ground floor and living that out in real time, the way Mike Vrabel is with Terrell Williams. What was your reaction to this news coming out yesterday?
Man, I thought it was a phenomenal opportunity for him. And as small as it may seem, it's steps like that have to be taken in order to get to the bigger platform that sometimes, man, that you're warranted, and sometimes you don't get the opportunity to get. So it's always been happening in college basketball. When you see these trips taken overseas and things of that nature, these international trips, like what UT is on, I know Coach Barnes gives an opportunity to each coach to give them a chance to coach, be the head coach, and he sits on the sidelines and observes the game, kind of like what Vrabel's going to do in this situation. But you saw that happen with Kim English. Lanier's did it a ton of times. Coach Dez Oliver did it plenty of times. Like, that's what it is, man. And a lot of these times, especially on that platform, the NFL that's always moving and there's so many lights on, you got to take that, man. It may be a little ripple in the water, but, man, that ripple can turn into a wave very quickly if everybody catches on. You know what I'm saying? But it got to take one person to step out there. And I heard y'all talking about it earlier. And that's, you got to commend Vrabel for that. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever steps were taken to get to that point, commend them. You know what I'm saying? That's big time. You look where he is with the GM, with Miss Amy Adams-Strunk. Like, it trickles down, man, from the leadership role. Giving a guy like Rand Carthon an opportunity to come in to be the GM. You know what I'm saying? I heard Mo talking about the Rooney Rule and how it's flawed. It is, but this is the way you start to, unflaw it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? By being able to take steps like this. So, hell of a tip of the cap to him, man. Great move.
Important to note.
Legs and balance.
That's right. Important to note, too, that Amy Adams-Strunk was introduced to Rand Carthon at the NFL Accelerator Program, which is a way that owners and front offices can hire minority candidates for front office positions as well. And Ian Cunningham, Glenn Cook, other guys who are up for the Titans general manager job. Certainly one thing we'll be looking for, Slay, Saturday, obviously, is just the way Terrell Williams kind of manages this game and manages the staff. But what else do you want to see the most this weekend when the Titans take on the Bears?
Man, I just want to see steps taken. This is the time for the guys on trying to make the depth chart. You know what I'm saying? Get on that roster. Get on that practice squad. Show that you can do more than just what's called for, but also being a master of something. You got to go out there and do something really good. Then show that you have the opportunity to be able to branch off. And like you guys were talking about with Kyle Phillips, you can be a receiver and you can be a special teamer, you know what I'm saying, punt returns and things of that nature. But you got so many other avenues that you can get on the field on. It ain't like basketball where you get 15 guys, 12 of them are going to be playing, and 3 of them are going to be sitting behind the bench. You got to have everybody intact, man, doing something. And this is a great opportunity in these preseason games, these joint practices, all of this. You get. I always say, man, the Titans is the land of opportunity. And anybody that say I'm wrong, you just look at the injuries the last 2 years, and anybody that comes in, if they don't make it here, they can get an opportunity to make it somewhere else. Hell, if Dennis Daly can go out and get a 2-year contract, that right there ought to be a beacon of light for anybody that's given an opportunity. So you look at this right here, man, and I want to see the wide receivers challenge each other. I want to see the quarterbacks challenge each other. This defense, we understand what the first 11 are, but what's behind them, the depth in that, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be big. I want to see what the secondary can do. And will it be somebody that can emerge to offer some depth at corner, knowing how fragile that position has been for us? If somebody can get right there and emerge, I think that'll be perfect as well.
Savage, when we speak about opportunities and stuff like that, it's always fair to kind of lay out the carpet for everybody if given the opportunity. 2 guys, I wonder what's going to be their pathway in this 2023 season. I want to know your take on it because both have had injuries. That's Caleb Farley and Dylan Radins, man. What's to be said about these guys in this year from your perspective, if you're playing manager of this team and how you go about it, man?
Man, that's tough, man, because, I mean, you look at it with Caleb Farley, man, it was already a question mark when he was being taken. I was fully on board about with the talent being able to supersede those injuries, but now the injuries are taking place. He got to get healthy first and foremost. Once he gets healthy, he got to be able to get the confidence, get out there and show. And it won't be – I don't think that's a long leash, man. I hate to say it, but I don't think that's a long leash that he's going to get out there and show that he can do something because you had opportunities in the past and you didn't do the most with them, and then the injuries happen again. So it may just be a part of it when your body fails you, man, and you just kind of be on that short leash. But Radins, I think he's a guy, man, especially in his situation, it's even better for him. We saw him going out there on the field doing some work by himself, trying to get back right. He actually looks good. That's one thing about rehab, especially a knee injury. Man, you're going to be in that gym, and that body is going to look good. His upper body looks phenomenal. So I'm interested to see when he comes back if he gets an opportunity, which I believe he will, especially with what's going on along the offensive line with the doors that are opening. And he's a guy that can play guard, can play tackle. So he's always got a role on this team if healthy. I think that's the first and foremost thing. So the training staff, man, they got to be your best friends. And if he get out there on the field, I do think Dylan Radins can play a part on this team, especially being a backup.
Man, one thing's for sure, too, Savage. Ron Slade with us this morning of 3HL. Okay, just so you didn't know who Savage was. It's good that we tell
Big J journalist over here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got to announce my guys in there. But with that being said, man, a lot of pressure.
Make 5, Millie.
A lot of pressure comes into Ron is in the lab right now in the basketball gym right now, if you did not know that. Yeah. But a lot of pressure comes with being the guy. And one thing we haven't talked about with this DeAndre Hopkins situation is him being the guy. You've been in a situation where you've been brought in and to make a team better in your role in your professional career. How much pressure do you think D-Hop feels in this?
Man, I honestly don't think it's a lot of pressure, Savage. And the reason I don't think it's a lot of pressure is because he's walking in a situation where he's been doubted. The situation he's walking in, the room's been doubted. You know what I'm saying? The quarterback's been doubted. So, therefore, it's not a pressure situation. He's walking in there with a Hall of Fame quarterback, a hell of an offensive line intact. He can be the missing piece. It's more so him walking in and he has an opportunity to prove something. So you recalibrate that. You take it all the way back to your rookie year, wanting to be in the league, wanting to show him who you are. It's almost a situation where he got to go out and prove again, even though he got the resume. Man, I'm still that dude. I don't think there's any pressure in that. I think it's more so the opportunity to chomping at the bits to get out there and get to it. You know what I'm saying? Pressure, I think, comes from when you got to be that guy. I think Julio came into a situation where it was pressure, because he was adding to a situation that was ready to take off. This right here, man, he added to a situation where they were just talking about that receiver room ain't nothing. That quarterback, man, they need to get rid of him. That offensive line, they don't know what it's going to be. King Henry, he might be washed. That's what I'm saying. The offense, man, they got it laid out for them perfect. You can't do nothing but win in that situation to me.
And that's where I go on the other side of this, too. The guy calling the plays. Tim Kelly has to play a significant role this year. And this is a later in the week conversation, but we're here right now. We're speaking about pressure. You feel the exact same way about Tim Kelly, too, to be like, look, and truthfully, too, I think we're seeing and hearing a lot of things about the identity of this team. Heck, one of the biggest conversations we've had is, do you keep 6 or do you keep 7 wide receivers? I don't know if we've ever had that conversation here since I've been here since 2020 to be like, man, the Titans keeping a lot of wide receivers. Like, is this because of Tim Kelly or where is he in the formation of pressure also, Savage?
Now, when we're talking about Tim Kelly, I feel like when you got a guy like D-Hop, now automatically you were able to shift it to him because you saw what the OC was last year, and you saw what he was able to sit there in that room and kind of figure out the guys, so he's not walking into a blind situation. He know what he has, so now the pressure shifts to him. I do believe there's pressure on him to be able to get it done because you've been delivered the weapons. Now, you can't use the scapegoat as the offensive line not knowing exactly what you got until NPF gets back. But at the same time, it's more so you got to be able to adjust on the fly and evolve whatever your offense is. If you got to hide some things, you got to hide some things. But you got the weapons and you got guys that are in their roles. I think that's the biggest thing for him. He ain't got to have Traylon Burks go be the 1, or he ain't got to have Kyle Phillips move up to be the 2. You got to have NWA. You got guys who are slotted to where they came into the league to be for that simple thing. And you got a dominant guy back there in the running back. And you got a guy quarterbacking that has experience. So, and it's played with an offensive line that will lay down if my son LeRon was blitzing off the edge. So you already know what you got. So you ought to be able to come into it with a mindset already, let me use my weapons. How can I get them the most out of them? So that's why I think the pressure lies, man. You got to come up with a game plan to get these guys rolling and at least give your defense an opportunity to go and win the game as nasty as they're going to be.
Right.
I know Lil Ron could get around Dennis Daly off a speed rush off the edge. There's no question about that. No question about that.
Hey, don't come on this station, man, dogging my little nephew, man. You hear me?
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. My boy ran off and left his lunchbox today, so I don't really know what was going on.
Not again.
Yeah, it's cool. I had to get them together. Ball handler, both of you lead, Camille. Ball handler, 50-50-50.
Coach
Ron. Go, June. Go, you with him.
Get you a man who could do both.
Yeah.
Expert
I
multitasker.
tried to get y'all a little time yesterday, man. Y'all wanted me back on Tuesday, too. So, you know what I mean? We in the lab this morning. The lab work got to get done. That's what I'm hoping Tim Kelly and they're doing right now. Tim Kelly ought to be telling them the same thing right now on the headset.
Yep.
Get the work done.
Ron Slay is a roof loser and a radio hoster at the same time, so we certainly are familiar with that.
That's fair, Will. I like that, man.
Yes, thank you. Roof loser, radio hoster.
Roof loser, man.
Styling, profiling. Anyway.
Hey, go on.
All right. Don't make me go off.
I'm trying to.
My blood in here pumping now. I'm in the gym. I'm at home. I'm in the boom room. I'm sitting in the paint right now. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, Slay,
all right, don't get me going.
We'll let you get back to coaching in a minute, but I got to ask you first. Did you feel any FOMO watching Tennessee go around Italy and go around playing the European tour over these past few weeks?
Hey, man, if anybody checks the text messages that me and Coach Rod Clark were having, then you know exactly how I was feeling. I'm telling them all kind of spots when they post something. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, I know exactly where you are. If you go right there to the right, you'll see this little spot. It's a little cafe, but behind it is a club, man. Now, that's the G spot. That's Club G spot. Now, if you go in there, you say my name at the door, they're going to take you down to the bottom. He was like, oh, I'm here for that slave. I said, no, man. I said, y'all stay focused. Y'all going to do what y'all doing, man. Don't keep winning. But I'm just telling you, though, I got some bones buried over there, man. I got some bones buried.
Y'all didn't do this when you were in school, did you?
Man, I missed it. They did it the year before I came. They went to France. And the year after, they went to Spain, I think, man.
Because isn't it usually every 4 years now, Slade?
Yep.
That way every class can get to do it once.
Yeah,
If you stay all
but I
4
think
years.
they substituted somehow. Something happened where when I was there, we went to Hawaii and we went to Puerto Rico. So I don't know what happened with our little trip. I don't know if money was slim or somebody put some money in a little Chick-fil-A bag and it went somewhere else or what, but we missed out on it, man. Whatever happened.
Jeremy Pruitt was working then, too, I guess.
And all the football team got in my time, there was movie trip to West Knoxville Mall.
You got 2 trips to Tampa.
Well,
I got 2 trips to Tampa to watch you play in the Outback Bowl.
Nah, man. We talking about international waters.
I was planning my vacations around watching both of you in Tennessee.
And nothing like going across the water, man.
Oh, so this is what we doing now? You just going to rub it in, Savage? Huh?
No, I didn't get to go. I'm with you. Shoot. I didn't get to go. Hawaii and Puerto Rico don't count to me.
Ron Slade, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. I'm feeling a certain way now.
Weekdays on 3HL. Slade, we'll let you get back to coaching, man. We appreciate you spending 2 days in a row with us. Thank you.
Hey, man, my guys, man, anytime.
Appreciate you, Drew.
All right, there's Ron Slade with us from the gym, coaching a little bit this morning.
I bet he's a great coach.
You know what he doing right now? He being the uncle you don't like because he got RJ with him right now.
Coaching remote son.
He letting him have it right now, and I'm here for that.
If he ever needs a dummy, I'll be down there in the paint. Look, you might say Big Body Bert down there. Big Body Bert try to lay somebody out. I'll take a charge real quick. I'll take a charge
Glue
real
guy,
quick.
Robert Walsh.
Glue guy.
Man, the amount of times in YMCA basketball in Brentwood, Tennessee, circa 2007, 2006, I was trying to take charges. Yeah. And those refs, who are probably like my age now, would just look at me with disgust. Like, you're not that guy.
There is
Don't take a
no
charge.
better feeling than when somebody pushes and you know you got it and you see that ref go, and you know everybody's about to be on 10.
The funny thing is, my dad was a high school basketball ref for a long time in the state of Tennessee. The technical call for charge, the point that you do is not a part of it.
No.
By the book, all you're supposed to do is put your hand behind your head. And then the only thing is you're just pointing of who gets the ball. So people have now taken it to let's do it all in one motion. Let's be slick with it a little bit. And that's basically half the things TV Ted does. I'll watch a college basketball game with my dad and he'll be like, yeah, that sign is nowhere in the book of how you're supposed to officiate games.
Man, my youngest love to take a charge too. He is a glue guy.
Of course, I can see Miles out there taking charges. That's my guy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, buddy.
Coming up, early practice update from St. Thomas Sports Park, where one veteran is not at practice. We'll tell you who coming up next.
It's Ramon for my PhD weight loss. It's not Monday, but it's still Tuesday in the beginning of the week, and you can get on the same pathway and track that I am too. Will, Bert, and Kayla will tell you. I got my breakfast pancakes piped up and ready to go this morning. I had them. I got my mid-morning snack ready to go. I know my lunch is already going to be for the day. I know my afternoon plan is also. That's what I'm telling you. This is a process. I had to personally learn how to lose weight. I thought losing weight was just honestly starving yourself a little bit. But what I'm here to tell you this is Dr. Ashley Lucas and her staff, and along with my coach Rachel, man, they have guided me in the direction where I have shedded pounds. I met a guy yesterday on the golf course telling me, Mom, look at them legs. I was like, hey, keep your eyes in your sockets, okay? I know they're smaller than what they used to be, but I'm here to tell you it's been a lot of hard work, and it's been a nice journey for me, too. On average, most male clients lose between 3 to 5 pounds a week if done correctly, and female clients lose between 2 to 3 pounds a week. What I'm telling you is this is a method that works. If you're thinking about losing 10, 15, heck, 60 like myself, or 100 or more, go to myphdweightloss.com. Get on the plan for you. It works. I promise you that. That is the guarantee that they have for you. Again, myphdweightloss.com. And be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone. We're powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, and we've got what you need for 5 more minutes before the Buck Rising Show takes over. Golf clap in the studio. Thank you, Robert. Buck Rising Show next with Josh Wiley today. We've given a sneak peek onto some of the conversations they may be having, and I will encourage you to listen as he gets off the practice field around 11:15. It's going to be good.
It should be good.
Yeah.
He did give us that sneak peek. Well, it's going to be pretty good for him, man. I like what Josh Wiley's kind of displayed a little bit in camp so far.
Okay, good.
Has the ability to block. I know that's one thing we were worried about, like his size and stuff. He does have, like, nice weight on his frame, too. It's not like you're getting a thin tight end. This guy has an affinity, it looked like, to block. Now, I'm not Vrabel looking at him block what his expectations are, but his form, technique, will, drive was good in the plays I've seen him be on the line of scrimmage like that. So good that Buck's able to get him. I think he's a 53-man guy, makes the team.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll be fascinated to see what his playmaking ability is.
No DeAndre Hopkins at Titans practice this morning. Not on the field. Not a huge deal. It's the really only time that he hasn't been out there for an entire practice, and I guess still a chance he could come out late, but doubt it if he's not out there now stretching and getting loose with individual periods and drills and things like that. So that on Twitter from everyone who's at practice, including Kayla, who will give us a full report tomorrow. We'll do that at 7:20 tomorrow after we scout the Chicago Bears.
Looking forward to that, man. I told you, too, one of the things I got to get past myself is diving into the deep detail of, like, preseason football and stuff like that, because, honestly, as a vet, I used to know all of my teammates, but knowing how good or bad they did or didn't do or the storylines behind it, I never really followed them that much because you're so worried about yourself being a pro or just the structure of the team sometimes that it's just like, all right, I'm worried about me and my guys.
Yeah.
But this time, you never know who's going to be a phoenix that rises from the ashes as far as making the 53-man roster, what injuries are going to happen, and who's going to step up. Heck, we're talking about Dr. Gibby right now being a starter, as far as the primary depth chart was.
Right.
But really, though, we will see, because coaches will tell you that depth chart is fluid as ever. What are Money Rice reps this week coming up?
Sure.
That's
a good question.
How is that going to look? I'm not sure if Azeez Al-Shaair is going to play a whole lot when it comes down to his role. I think we know he's going to be a starter on this team. And I do look at the matchup between Dr. Gibby and Money Rice as being one to keep our eye on this weekend.
And we mentioned it earlier and didn't get into great detail about it, so maybe a conversation for tomorrow. But Elijah Molden being listed as a safety.
Yep.
And not as a corner.
Not as a corner.
Certainly interesting there. And I think there's a conversation to be had about his role this season being similar to Amani Hooker's role when he was the Titans' third safety. And some similarities there. Even really Andrew Adams last season, who was on the field for like almost every third down the Titans played. They love adding a third safety onto the field on third downs.
They do. But there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend. I'm just looking at Hassan's situation, and
Sure.
also Tajay Spears. But not only that, we got 2 top 10, y'all, top 10, top 15 draft picks this year that we got to look at. We're talking about Darnell Vol, who's starting at right tackle for the Bears as it stands right now, and also Peter Skoronska, who's from the Chicago area.
Sure.
This is the first go-back-home moment for him? Cool.
Coming up tonight on 104.5 The Zone, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kick as Nashville SC hosts 13-time Mexican champions Club America from Liga MX, a spot in the quarterfinals of the Leagues Cup up for grabs. Gary Smith, Nashville SC manager, noting that new striker Sam Surridge will be involved in the team.
Nice.
Something to watch for tonight. So you can listen to myself, Jalil Anibaba on the call. 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kick. Looking forward to that. And looking forward to a practice report and a Wednesday, already the middle of the week tomorrow.
We are.
Flying by.
I know.
As we get ready for Titans football. Ramon Foster sends us home on a Tuesday.
Y'all got to remember at all times, good people, your Twitter fingers, your mic, and maybe your camera rolling by up here is always high.